Monday, March 13th, 2023. I'm Steven Sersky. Today I have another guest with me, Song Wang, who's a Beijing-based film producer who's involved with the management and the directing of, or the shooting of commercial productions here in Beijing, China. We talk a little bit about the ups and downs of being in the industry, what got her into the industry, and where she sees it heading over the next few years. This podcast is a little bit longer than normal, but it is full of a lot of advice for people who might be thinking about coming to China or people who want to get involved in this industry. We also talk a little bit about her upbringing in the northern parts of China and what brought her to Beijing and what's taking her around the world. So, episode number 38. Show notes are available on my website, stevensersky.com, but here is episode number 38 with Song Wang. Ganbei.
Ganbei.
Cheers. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you for inviting me. And I'm very sorry it took us quite a while. Like, we made plans for a couple of times, but finally it's happening.
That was October, wasn't it? September?
Yeah.
I think it was. That was.
Yeah.
But then your husband went to the hospital.
Yeah, and also in the end of the year, that was the busiest time for me because all the clients were trying to do things before the Chinese festival.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you had to go to South Africa.
For my wedding, yes. There was
kind of a busy time.
There was another hectic story because I didn't tell you on my wedding day. So my wedding was 27th, like right after the Christmas. On my wedding day that day, I was invited to a pretty big pitch, and I told my client this is not going to work because it's my wedding day. And he said, I can't really change the date for you because we are doing this pitch. It's going to be like 10, 15 other suppliers like me going to join this pitch. So they can't make an exception for me. It's like, okay, don't worry. So I managed to use the time difference. So I woke up on my wedding day at 3 o'clock. I did my pitch and then went back to bed. Got too excited, couldn't fall asleep.
Of course.
And then at 8 o'clock, I woke up again, do my makeup, and did my wedding. Yeah.
You were up at 3 a.m. on your wedding day to do a pitch.
Yes.
Over Zoom.
Oh, and I got it, by the way. Yes. But those 2 days before my wedding, all I did was just in my little bubble. But fortunately, my husband's family, they were very supportive. They were like, okay, we know what Song is doing. Just let her do her own stuff. Yeah. I didn't want to choose career or family. I just want them both. So I managed to make it happen.
How long have you been with your husband for?
4 years.
4 years. All right. Have you been able to have that work-life balance between you two, or is it sort of chaotic?
I won't say it's a work-life balance with him. It's more with myself. How do I think now you also work from home, so sometimes it's difficult to be self-disciplined, be productive, and also take care of yourself. Like sometimes I overwork myself, or I didn't plan to have much quality time with my partner. I didn't eat properly, for example. So it's more about a whole process of finding a way to how to take care of myself mentally and physically, and to do the things that I want to do.
What does your husband do?
English teacher.
What surprise, surprise.
Such a big surprise, right? I never expected that.
Well, because you're talking about discipline, but I mean, throughout the coronavirus, I mean, that whole industry was thrown into disarray.
Yeah.
But you're in the film and media entertainment business.
Yeah.
Which has its own disarrayness, its own craziness associated with it. So I would almost say that he has much more stability in terms of just employment being there.
No, he actually didn't work for I think 9 months last year.
Because they shut the schools.
Yeah. Now it's stable. His work is stable. He's in an international school. I also had struggles because we couldn't have a very big crew to film. Oh my god, it was such pain, like thinking about, when it was lockdown everywhere. I found a location finally who accepted my crew. And then when the time got close, suddenly I got notice saying, the policeman came, we're gonna lock down tomorrow. And then I had to change. It's just stuff like this always happen. And the actors always told me like 2 days in advance, oh, my community got locked down. Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah. So how did you deal with those situations? I mean, because you're probably on your phone or on WeChat all the time.
All the time. There isn't one, for example, a shooting day, and then there was like 10 days before the shooting day would be, because my productions are small.
Yeah.
That would be my pre-production session. For those days, there isn't a very clear line between life and work. So if something happened, I just got to do it immediately. Yeah.
How long do you work per day? Do you have a work day or not? Like
Every day is my work day.
Right, but is there a finish time to that work day or not?
It's up to like how serious or how urgent the things are. Yeah, like I like to make plans to make sure I don't push myself too hard, so I can still have time to just relax and chill, so that I can be fully energetic the second day to get things done more efficiently. Otherwise, it's gonna be a full mess.
Yeah, for sure. I'm guessing you don't look like you drink very much though.
Oh, I do.
Oh.
I party.
Well, I know
I'm a dancer. Yeah, I party. Yeah, but only when I know, okay, this weekend I've got nothing to do, so this Friday night I can party. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we were talking before about how I've made the switch over to Ling Dao peach, like no alcohol basically. And part of it is because like being on that second day, but I mean, if you're trying to do work after your work, then you still have to be on. There's no time. I mean, you have to pick and choose when you're going to be
definitely
not on anymore.
Yes, definitely.
So do you get much time off with your work? Like if you're working, is it Monday to Friday or what's your schedule like?
I used to work every day.
Yeah.
And then it was too much for me. Yeah. I feel like there was a period I was doing 4 productions within 1 month. There was really lots, and I just the moment I woke up, I sat next to my computer and work until I ate, like I ordered food. I didn't have time to cook until the moment that I went to sleep again, and I kept doing that for 2 months. Maybe I couldn't, man. It's too much. So now I try to make sure I put my work on the weekdays only.
Yeah.
And because also my clients, they don't like to be bothered on weekends as well. So I try
normal people.
So I try to do plan my work on the weekdays. Yeah.
Okay.
Only.
So, but then on the weekends, like, are you doing any post-production, or is it like you've reserved those times for like family time or something else?
Sometimes if it's not very important, I won't say important, like not very urgent thing to do, I will try to put it on Monday.
Right.
So that I can have some time for me and my family.
Yeah.
But if it's like really a big deal, then come on, I gotta do it. And also responsibility, yeah.
I guess so, yeah. Is your shooting, because when thinking of the film industry, and I remember when I met a few of the actors, like they were talking about how some of them had done other work in North America and how different it is here in China.
Yeah.
Because in Canada, the shooting days can happen at any time of day, I guess. Like they will call a shot at night sort of thing, right? Do you have that very often? Like there's evening shoots at all, or is that...
We do evening shoots, yeah. But you were talking about the filming industry, right? The movie thing.
Yes, that's more what it is, yeah. Not the commercial industry.
I'm a commercial producer.
So commercial producer, then you only do daytime, basically. It's more like
Oh, no, we work late. We work very late.
Okay.
But I mean, advertisements are different from movies and series, because those ones, they are long-term projects. Like they can film on site for a month.
Mm-hmm.
But our stuff is 1 or 2 days, 2-3 days, that's it. So we have, the rundown is quite specific, what time to start, when to shoot what. We aren't sure actually when is everything going to end, because shit can happen on site, it just take longer time. But in general, like we don't do urgent calls like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But actually, you reminds me one time when I was filming, I think it was last year, filming for a mobile game, a commercial, and I had a deal with this actress. She was the main actress for me, so she was the leader role. About 8 hours. And I assumed that all the actors would know that 8 hours means minimum 8 hours you're going to be on site, because you can only leave, the actors can only leave when we're done with the filming on that day, right?
Yeah.
But she didn't know that. So she, when 8 hours is done, we still had one more whole story. I had to film 5 stories on that day. So I still had a whole story to film. And she was the leader, and she packed her bag and I say, "Some, I'm off by." I'm like, "No, you can't go now. Come on." Yeah, but she said she had something other thing to do. At that time, there wasn't time for being upset or for frustration. So, okay, you can go. And I just quickly called another actress.
What did that do to your storyline? Because you had 5 stories, you got 4 of them.
Oh, they were separated. Yeah, they aren't a series. Every single piece is an individual short story.
Okay, so she was replaceable.
Yeah.
We all are.
I'm also replaceable. Come on, that's very sad.
Yeah, but actors more so. It's like, you go ahead, you can say that you demand your contract by, we'll call another English teacher. It's fine. They're unemployed right now anyway.
No, I was lucky, actually. Yeah, because you're right, my stories weren't like a series of stories, so I could use another face. But, I don't know, maybe if I had to film her at that day, then maybe I just had to call it a day and do it another day. Yeah, that would be a big cost for the whole team, because imagine I was paying for the whole crew, 20 people on site. I'm glad that didn't happen.
do you have a lot of, can we call them divas or egos that you have to deal with in the commercial industry? Because the film industry is notorious for people, like even bit part actors having big egos about their job. And you're going, dude, you're replaceable. I mean, you don't need to, there's no need to be that sort of arrogant about what's going on. Maybe that's sort of the movie industry side of things. Like
people
commercial,
with fame, with real fame.
I guess. Do you have to deal with a lot of those people?
Not really. Yeah, I know all my actors pretty well. I mean, we've been working together for years. I like them. I trust them. They trust me. We have a very good relationships, I think. Yeah. All
right. So no problems there. Do you have like a core ensemble that you go to basically? Like these will be sort of like the song years that were being that commercials were being done by you. That's always the same faces in the commercials.
Say that again, sorry?
So if you know the same actors, right? So, and you have different storylines all the time, but it's the same actors. This is like your magnum opus. This is your massive creativity here. These are going to be the years that you were active as a commercial producer in Beijing, because all these actors are the same. Is it just the same ensemble, or do you bring in new faces?
I bring in new faces, yeah. Because, like... especially over the past 3 years during the COVID, lots of actors, they left and no new actors could come inside. So we had the actor-based pool. Can I call it a pool? Of actors. Just became smaller and smaller. So it went, when it was the worst, like we only had a few people that we could choose from, so which was pretty bad actually. Imagine all the stories that you can only film with these people. But also, which actors to film with, it's also, it depends on the stories. Like they have their images, they have to fit the characters, right? So sometimes when I didn't have very suitable actors, I would use models from Russia, Ukraine, beautiful faces. Yes, their lines aren't as good, but their advantage at another part, I would do voiceover for them.
So that's why so many things are overdubbed. They were just a face to use for shooting, because CG is still not there just yet. We can't replicate the actors just yet, but you can overdub their voices. Do you have to do that a lot, or was that just because of coronavirus?
Not very often. Now it's okay. Now people started to come back. And I think this year I'm probably gonna take some projects to overseas to make it easier. I'm still thinking, man. So I managed to find a team in Indonesia, because I've got clients that they have their app, they want to release some commercial in Indonesian market. So I managed to find a team there, and a team in Thailand, and maybe Hong Kong and Taiwan as well.
So that's you're going to hire the locals over there, like a local team.
Yeah.
Okay.
On shooting, like maybe I think a week before the shooting day, I'll go there. Like we will do all the pre-communication online, like set up the plan and stuff, and then I will be there to be a part of their preparation, to check the location, do the casting of the actors, and then we do the shooting. Yeah.
And how long is this going to take? Like, is it going to be like that 10-day window before the shoot, or what?
What do you mean?
How are you gonna? You're gonna fly there. You're gonna do all the pre-production, and then you're gonna fly there, and then what? I mean, why don't you just continue being online?
Well, I can, but I mean that's a nice excuse for me to have a vacation.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why.
So,
Who wants to? If you can work in Indonesia, who wants to spend their days in Beijing? Come on.
I don't know. I mean, maybe because your family's here. I mean, isn't it easier and cheaper?
No, I think it'll be cool. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, that's your international jet set lifestyle there, being able to.
Yeah,
go
I'm
over
very
the-
excited for it. So they see that's what I'm gonna do.
How many projects do you do a month? Before you said it was 4, and that was a lot.
Yeah. Now it's on and off. Like sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Like this month I'm only doing 1. And I do lots of voiceovers as well. And some voiceovers are bigger. Like we need to, probably the whole session would be 3 weeks to a month because you need to do the audition.
3 weeks. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, just, auditions, demo first, and then audition, and then put on a schedule. I need to arrange a studio, voiceover director, and the writers of the games. They need to check everything, and then the recording, and then the edition part. Yeah, but there's also like lots of small set projects going on all the time, every day. Yeah.
Like what?
Like for example. Cash Frenzy, you know Cash Frenzy?
I know and love Cash Frenzy. Best game ever.
Top. Yeah, that has been going on every day, yeah.
Really? It's still going on?
Yes,
That's
yes,
a soap opera.
yeah.
I think it has to be made into a soap opera.
Yeah, so dramatic.
It is.
Right? So dramatic. Like, I think the writers are literally... when can they run out of ideas? Like they have to come up with different dramatic scenarios all the time.
They had some creative ideas.
Yeah.
So that's only a bit part for you. You're saying is like Cash Frenzy is sort of like a small.
It's like a daily thing that's just going on. Yeah, and also I've got like small side voiceover projects going on and off all the time. Yeah.
So how does that compare with your larger projects? Like what makes something a side project and what makes something a big main project?
Money. What do you mean?
How much?
No, I was kidding. Yeah, but like if.
But I don't think you are, because I think money does make the production a whole lot bigger.
That does make a difference, yes. But I mean, if I'm my position, I have to say, yeah, if I'm a producer, like for example, the production I'm working on now is I'm going to film next Saturday and Sunday, 2 days. I am the producer, but I make very, very little money out of it because for me it's better quality production. So we're gonna use videos on exhibition, like academic physics type of thing. I read the script, it's like they're all Chinese characters, but I don't understand it when they in the line. You know what I mean? So it's okay. I have people who can understand and they know the shit that they are doing. I just be a nanny, like putting things and people together to make sure the director's requirements are met. Things, whatever he needs, he will get it. But it would be like higher quality, better quality, like more academic, documentary type of thing. Yeah. Because my previous productions, they are... I won't say they are like Cash Frenzy, but like social media advertisements, yeah. So they aren't as classy as this one.
Do-
So I don't care about the money here.
Right.
So I want to use it in my resume. I want to make it good. I want to make it happen. I want to give it my best. And my position here is a producer. So it's my priority. So this period, that's my like number one priority.
Is your is your job or your because you have your own production company that has a name to it. Now you want to do this in good quality. What happens if you don't? Like does that if one production doesn't go as planned? Like there must be muck-ups all the time that are out of your control. But I mean, at what point does it make it a bad production? You're saying you put on a resume. It's hard to believe that you actually have a resume. Who are you applying to, sort of thing?
Oh, to my clients.
Right.
Yeah. Because to get like I need to reach out to new clients all the time, and they need to think about if you are the game production and you have 100 suppliers in your line sitting in a line, and you only have one commercial. You're gonna choose one of them. So you want to choose somebody who has experience already, who know what you're doing and your target audience, and you can look at their previous works and know that they are
Trustworthy. Yeah.
trustworthy, and
They're not just going to take your money and run away.
Yeah, and also now I have to say, when I just started to be a producer for this mobile game thing, that was 3 years ago, the competition was easy. It was like not many people were doing it, and with my, I think, language advantage, communication ability, so I could start it a bit earlier. But then later on, more people saw this opportunity, and so many other suppliers jumped in this pool. Like we swim together, and we all trying to get the same production. So the competition has gone worse. Yeah.
Is it easy to set up a production company? To me, it seems like it's a lot easier than it was 5-10 years ago. But I mean, get a camera, a microphone.
Yeah, you've got you by yourself. You alone is a production team. Yeah, a small one, but you can call it that way. Yeah. It's
so
easy.
The competition's increased quite a bit. I mean, the technology can't be that difficult to get a hold of or cost. It's not even that expensive.
I think my challenge is more about how can I be trustworthy for my clients.
Yeah.
Let them know that they can trust me with their money, that I can take good advantage of their money, their budget, and maximize the resources to make the best outcome out of it. And also I need to have a good eye on people, like to choose which directors I work with. Even smaller positions like gaffer, wardrobe guy, these are all like actors, for example. These are all every single person is important on site. Yeah, so you need to choose the one you know that you can have a good vibe working together with. Yeah.
So how do you make these choices? Is it all about the people, or is there a certain element that you can cover up because of the technology, or just delete it, sort of thing? I mean, you talk about the gaffer. Do most people look at the gaffer that you're hiring for the team, or is that more for your own production? Like, will he get along, or they get along with the rest of the team?
I actually prefer if the director, I give the director lots of trust as well. So if the director saying like DP and the gaffer, the two most important people for him, like if he has his own colleagues, well, they're not real colleagues, because in this industry people are all like kind of freelancers, like we team up together when we are on site for one production, but basically we on our own, right? So if the director has his own choices, then I would give him the trust to use the people that he has been working with for the past, like previous productions.
Right.
Yeah. But if he doesn't, then I'm gonna choose. So I'm gonna look. Well, I have a pool. I use the word pool a lot.
That's what it is. A lot of people.
I don't know another word for it. Like a kind of database of people. Yeah, that I know. I've met over the years. I've worked. I know I also need to match their ability, their offer with my budget.
Yeah.
Because if I have very small budget, I can't use a very good director. It doesn't matter how good he is. Yeah, I can't satisfy his needs. He's going to use all the best things that I don't have the budget for. And also if I have a better one, so which means the client will have a higher expectation. I can't give him shit people because I want to make more money. That's not gonna work, because where does that lead me to? Like I have to give them like the equally good people so that their expectation can be met. Yeah.
So how do you make that choice of the budget to the skilled professional on the other side? I mean, how do you make that decision about which one in your pool gets selected?
Good question. Because
coin toss.
No, I didn't. I think that's I'm gonna be honest. That would be one of my biggest fears and disadvantages, because I didn't study in directing or filming or producing by myself in the university.
What did you study? Business English?
No,
Oh, okay.
Russian language and literature. Boom,
That
surprise.
directly into the film industry with that.
Yeah, if I would say if I majored in directing, I probably would have better judges, better
judgment than
judgment.
Right.
Yeah, but now sometimes I do doubt my own choices, but it turned out okay. Yeah.
You're still working.
Yeah.
You're making money.
I use my experiences. Of course, if I meet the situation that I can't really tell if this is a good fit, I will ask some like friends that I know, like they can definitely tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not shy at reaching out for help. Yeah. And also I try to get myself a little bit better. When I was started to get more voiceovers, I was like, okay, you know what, I need to know more shit about this thing. So I joined the voiceover acting session. I spent the whole summer studying there by myself just to know.
Where?
Oh, it's in Beijing. Yeah, there's quite a few pretty famous voiceover studios that they have their own training sessions.
So you don't know you didn't know how to do voiceovers before? You took like a class basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And then now have your own voice acting division in your production company?
Yeah.
That easy, huh?
yeah, it's easy. We all we don't know something, we just spend time on it, spend money and studying. It's okay. Yeah, you're gonna have a better taste. And I listen lots. Even when my husband is playing, I'm always listening to the voiceovers.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the when I watch movies and stuff. I try to do la PR. I don't know how to say this in English, but basically you make a storyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Like you trying to get the movie back to how before they filmed the movie. I make screenshots of the different angles of the cameras and about the transition. You know, so just spend time studying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also joined the New York Film Academy online producer session.
Okay.
Yeah, last year.
How much was that?
Oh, it's actually much cheaper than I thought. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was only $2,000 something. Yeah.
Well, it's cheap, I guess.
Yeah, well, because the voiceover session that I took in Beijing, that was $13,000. That was a couple of years ago. Yeah. This is about the same with the New York Film Academy. So I mean, that's okay. Yeah.
But do you think Beijing is the same as the New York Film Academy?
No, that's what I mean. It's a very good deal.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so many other online things that we can take. Yeah.
Yeah. So how much, you don't have to give me specifics, you can if you want, like, is it lucrative to be in this film production, particularly in China, in Beijing, or just in general, if someone was listening to this and like, oh, I could do voice acting, because I know a lot of people think they can, not all of them can though. Is it worth making the plunge into that industry?
Oh. I mean, I mean, to start with, if you have the interest in it, if your personality, if you're an outgoing person, you're not afraid of the camera, you're not afraid of, because you're gonna open up yourself, you're gonna let your emotions go, you're gonna deliver different types of like emotions, tones, right? So if you happen to have that part in your personality and that could be fun for you, then sure, give it a shot. And I mean, I worked, we've done many voiceover productions, and we have worked with so many people who had absolutely no experience in voiceovers before. But because on audition, their voice can be a good match, you know. It's more about if you are suitable to this character or role or whatever. But if you want to make a good living out of it, man, you're gonna be trained. Not every single person can do that. Yeah.
I think K. Gambit is the guy who's pretty good at the voice acting as well.
I love him.
Yeah, he's phenomenal ability to, because he does it in his stand-up comedy as well.
I love his shows. Yes.
But he does accents in his stand-up as well, and it's always like, wow, he actually nailed that one pretty well.
Yeah, and one thing very amazing about his comedy, I think he uses his voice vocal skills very well, and the accent skills in his comedy, so he can do more different types of stand-up comedies that other comedians cannot do.
Yeah.
That's a very big advantage, yeah.
One production I was looking to get into that I haven't taken the jump just yet, but I've been entertaining the idea for a while, is to get into stunt doubling. Do you deal with stunt doubles at all?
What does that mean?
So when there's a fight sequence, you don't hire the actor to do the fighting, you hire someone else to do the fighting for the actor. That stuff. And there's a guy who's based here in China, or based in Beijing, and he does stunt double acting, or like fight sequence acting sort of thing. So I was looking to get into that, and his group classes were like 150 renminbi or something. But
I know which one you're talking about.
Well, it's Troy Sanderson. Yeah, he runs the thing, but it looks really cool. I'm not sure. Like, is it, if someone wanted to look at China and not be an English teacher, could they have the dream of coming here and being in the film industry, or is
Yes, of course, yeah. Of course.
What would their first sort of, what would their entrance be?
Man, you better have a nice show reel. Like, you can't come here absolutely without any experience, right? So if you have like a little bit experience back in your country, you have your resume, see, hey, this is the parts that I've taken before, and pieces of the production videos that you've been before, just like a simple show reel, you know.
Yeah.
And many doors will open to you, yeah. And reach out to the agents, to producers like me. If you got experience, I will leave my contact information. Call me.
Do you need more people? Like, is it
all the time?
What do you need them for? Just because the schedules? I mean, if someone's job is to be an actor in Beijing in China, what else have they got to do except act?
Yeah, but I mean, we have so many different diverse roles all the time. You never know what type of roles that your writer gonna come up with next, you know. So especially, we need more girls. Yeah, white girls. I'm sorry for saying that, but white girls. I need a white woman.
Your group, your voice actor group, blew up that one time when you sent out that description of some game characters, and it was, I guess you would call it stereotypical, and I remember some people were fighting for you on that side, going, it is what it is. You wouldn't play a game that didn't have those elements in it, because then you'd be like, well, this isn't real. Do you face that a lot, that sort of pushback from the stereotypes of what you're casting, who you're casting?
You know, after what happened, the thing that you mentioned, that argument, right? I decided not to post my audition files details in the group, so that 200, 300 people can see that and judge
and argue about it.
Yes, because unfortunately, there are things that we can't decide, like what the writers, maybe they didn't mean to do that either, but they are taking good advantage of the stereotype of certain type of people because the market accepts it better. Like maybe it's not what they wanted either. And for me, man, I'm just a small producer. I'm just doing my work. I just need to meet my clients' requirements.
Yeah.
Like I can't like it's like they need a Latino guy for this character. I can't say like this is wrong, man. This is racist. I can't do that. No, like it's either I get the production or not. It's
Right.
very simple, yeah. So after that argument, I fully understand what was going on. Like some people may get hurt seeing those type of stereotypes. Like same with Asian, like people have stereotype about yellow as well. I'm yellow, you're white. That's so wrong for me saying that, but when it comes to work, yeah.
Well, especially in a visual medium. I mean, the one movie that comes to mind with why didn't you cast the locals or something like that was, or why did you cast the locals? It was Taras Bulba, which is an old Ukrainian movie that was Yul Brenner. He was cast in this role of Taras Bulba, and they shot it in Argentina, but they imported a bunch of people, and it was like who they were trying to portray and who they casted for it did not match. And it was just like, so it's a classic movie. Everyone loves to watch it, but it's just like one of these things you're going, at what point does authenticity of real life meet the authenticity of the movie, of the story life that you need? And I guess like the whole industry has undergone a sort of, I don't know if it's an introspection, but it's a scrutinization. People are scrutinizing and looking at the film industry and going, why aren't you casting more black people in black roles? Why aren't you casting more Asian in Asian roles and not just either whitewashing it or vice versa? So, but I mean, for commercials,
I can't really decide that. Yeah, it's not my position to say. I can give advices. Sometimes I do. But I'm not the boss here. Yeah,
Right.
I meet the client's satisfaction. Yeah.
I'm surprised you need more white women. What happened to them all? Are they just not in China, or they're not interested in acting?
I don't know. Actually, I found just I also noticed that over the years, just that the expected community is very male dominant. There's more guys here.
Really? Why do you think that is?
We always have lots of male actors to choose from, but we always like female actresses. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have do you talk to a lot of people outside of China, like expats or people who want to come to China? Because I know no one talks about coming to China.
Really?
No one. I know people who've come over here, but I never knew them prior to them sort of either showing up or we sort of met along the way of them coming over here. So all basically ESL based. But
I mean, that's also one of the reasons why now since the doors open, I want to try to take my productions overseas.
Overseas, yeah.
It will be easier because there will be more actors outside the more local locations that I can use. Like here, for example, we have to. The studios, they're still like in a Chinese environment, so we need to make things look a bit different to make it look more Western because our commercials are being used overseas. That's why we use all the foreign actors. But if I can just film it overseas, then that problem, the localization problem, will be solved by itself. Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the telltale signs of something being shot in China is furniture like this. Because all these buildings were, all these apartments were made at a certain time, and they all use the same standard sort of furniture. You can just see a commercial like, that's China. That is a Chinese production. You can't get that in Canada. There's no way to fake that. I mean, I don't know why you would. I mean, it doesn't make sense. But it's not IKEA. It's like, I don't even know what the brand name is, but they all look the same, all that same beige color and everything. So is this something that you see yourself continuing on 3, 5, 10 years? I mean, 10 years is a long time. 5 years is a long time. 5 years we had coronavirus, so that 3 years, whatever. But in 3 years' time, what do you think?
I think it's a good direction for me to go, but I also try to develop new skills, try to learn new things. not only maybe as a producer I can try to make commercials for different type of products, not only apps or mobile games, maybe something else like documentaries, always something that I wanted to do. I know it's not much money in there, but it sounds really cool. And I tried to do script writing as well.
How did that go?
It's pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
I wasn't confident in myself at all, but then there was last year the scripts, the creative ideas that my scriptwriter gave me, I wasn't very happy with. So I came up with 2. I added my own in there, and they got accepted. It was pretty well, yeah. So just like things like this give me more confidence. It's like a positive feedback to me to make me feel, less afraid of trying new things.
Yeah. So with the documentaries, that would be much more creative output than the commercials. And the commercials have their own sort of creativity. But documentaries, are you talking like going to South Africa and shooting a documentary, or?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'll see how life takes me. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you be interested in getting into more original creations that aren't so commercial, like original screenwriting, things like that?
Maybe. I don't know if... But also I'm interested in money, in making money. I know, I know. That's the thing about commercials. Your profits are pretty guaranteed.
Yeah.
So it's not up to how the market will, how much views you're gonna get and stuff. For that, I'll think about it later maybe. But I like to do things that I enjoy, along with making money at the same time. Yes, so
I think it's very common though. A lot of the creatives, they either teach on the side, like either for a university, they'll work for New York Film Academy or something, but they'll do commercials as well. Like it just won't get the same sexy glitz and glam front page coverage.
Yeah.
But they'll still do it because you gotta eat, sort of thing. Me as well. But so then if you do that, because you also did some script writing though for a play, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Was that the
No, I wasn't writing the script for them. I just do some stage play, perform some stage play from time to time.
Wasn't there one last year? It was all women.
Yeah.
And which one was that?
Flip the script.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you write anything for that, or?
No. We the producer, do you know her, Tatiana?
Yeah. She was on the podcast.
I thought you guys might know each other because she's also running her own podcast. A very creative woman, full of energy, very positive. I like her lots. So she got all the scripts from online. So those are the scripts that were written already. So she picked some pieces and she produced that event. And now she's producing another one. I'll invite you later.
I'm in Hong Kong that weekend.
Rugby Sevens to watch that.
It's March 31st, I think, is the April 1st. Yeah. Hong Kong. No, what's on Hong Kong? Creamfields, some EDM festival, electronica music.
Oh my god, that's cool.
I guess I'm going because it's Hong Kong. I'm going because it's not Beijing. I'm going because I haven't left Beijing in a very long time. I'm like, let's go.
Man. Enjoy. I like Hong Kong so much.
So she's doing, Tatiana, she's directing it, I guess, or she's helming it. She's putting it all together.
Yeah.
This would be her, because I guess she does only one production per year? I'm not sure.
Stage play, I think, yeah. But she does so many other stuff.
Yeah.
Some poetry thing. Yeah, I've never been there before, but I saw the flyers. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of your productions, like, are you hands-on at all in terms of making stuff, or is it you always have other people? Because I'm thinking, you're talking about going overseas to hire other crews. Do you ever press record or hold a microphone, or is it you tell other people to press record?
I tell other people. Yeah. That's not my job. Is to as a producer. It's like it's about you arrange the people together. You put up a team together.
Right.
Yeah, and you let the suitable people to do the job that that will fit them the best, right?
Yeah.
So I don't. Well, I actually directed something by myself, a very small commercial last year or 2 years ago, but that was easy. That was very easy acting, and I was trained in acting as well. So for me, it was okay. I did that twice. My clients were very happy about it. But if it's more complicated, I would delegate it to the suitable people to do it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Do you prefer to be in sort of the control mode rather than in front of the camera? Producer or in front of the camera?
Me in front of the camera? No, I don't think that's my thing. Yeah.
Why not?
To be honest, I don't think I'm qualified to be. Are you asking me, do I prefer to be an actress?
Yeah.
I'm not qualified, man.
What qualifies someone to be an actress?
Well,
showing up and, having a face that's willing to be on camera, basically.
There are millions of amazing actors in China who would want to see me.
Well, because there is a certain skill in being able to present on camera as well. But, I mean, you're not just a producer as well. You said you're also a dancer. And
that's just a hobby.
Okay, so were you I remember, I'm looking at my show notes, or these notes from months ago that we created this. So you were a model, or you are a model?
No. I was model agent.
Model agent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. That's not what I heard. Right. But you do the dancing. That's mostly a hobby. You said. How often do you do that then?
Pretty often. I think 3 times in a week. Yeah.
That's a lot.
I used to be more passionate about it. I think 3 years ago, I could dance 5 hours in a day, and I was with my crew. We did some shows for TV, some TV shows that they have the singer singing in front, and we were dancing behind the singers.
Right.
Yeah, and or some commercial events like McDonald's, they have an opening and we would do our choreography there as a crew. But that was really time consuming, yeah. I have, now dance has become like a smaller part of my life. I just do it for fun.
Right.
So I don't do I left my crew, so.
Right. So you wouldn't take up dancing as a career then? That's even harder than being an actor as well.
Yeah.
Now, the other story that you told me about that I think had me laughing was the fact that you lost how much? $1 million?
That was the wrong number, by the way. That's not that much. Yeah, it was when I just graduated. Yeah, when I just started to work. I never worked one day in a company. So after university, I was like, okay, maybe I can do something. I don't know. I was just looking around. What should I do? What do I want to do? And then my friends did not live stream at that time. They just started to become popular in China. That was 2014.
Okay.
Oh my God, I feel so old.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. And my friends, they were working in a live stream company. So basically they have the resources from the platform already. And they wanted to make a team of, what you call them in English, like hosts or live streamers, influencers?
Well, influencers, I guess they're trying to sell stuff, but live streamers are just people who are yakking on it, like talking
live
online.
Streamers, yeah. Then, let's use live streamers, yeah. A team of foreign girls live streamers to be different from what's going on in the market already. So, and we got an investor. He invested us $500,000 at that time.
$500,000, not the full million.
No. We were excited, so we rent a studio. I decorated the studio, and I recruited the girls. I didn't know many people, so I sent a message on, ВКонтакте, VK. It's like Russian. Yep. Oh, you know that?
Yep.
Really? I mean, basically only Russian speakers use that platform.
It's an exact copy of Facebook.
Yes.
A little bit better because they don't have the same copyright infringements built into it, whereas Facebook will block you if you don't have rights to post something, but Contact does not.
Yeah.
I lived in Ukraine, and I think I still have a profile. I'm not entirely
Oh, okay. That explains a lot. And so I was looking for pretty girls.
High
White.
qualifications here.
White, because that's the team that they want to make, just to look different from the other live streamers, and who can speak pretty good Chinese, because we want them to be able to communicate with the audience. Yeah. So I was doing that for 2 years and a half maybe, and then we lost all the money.
Well, how did you lose the money over 2.5 years?
Because we were making money, but not as fast as the speed that we were spending the money on the live streamers. We pay them by hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they are only too happy to keep on working as long as the paychecks are coming.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
How much were you paying them? 500,000 is a lot of money.
I don't know how much. By hour, I think. Because they were all students, so they couldn't do it as a full-time job.
Yeah.
There was only like 2 hours in a day. They come probably 5 days in a week. Actually, I don't remember. Not much, yeah. Because I still remember we couldn't afford the models to do that. Because obviously, models who have been in China for a long time, that they have the advantage, but they were too expensive for us.
Okay.
So we wanted to try to run a bit longer. So for me as a recruiter at the time, like a headhunter, it's more work. It was more work for me because I had to use all my ways to reach out to people, especially the students who had the time to do part-time job, and wanted some extra cash. Basically, yeah.
So 2.5 years, though. I mean, you made it sound as if you lost it like that sort of thing. It was very quick, but I mean, 2.5 years is a good time to lose $500,000.
Not dollars, man.
Renminbi.
The RMB, yeah.
Oh, so it's only like
RMB.
90,000 US dollars, 100,000 Canadian, roughly.
Okay, you were thinking about in dollars. I don't know the currency rate of.
Divide by 7 to get the US dollar.
US dollar, yeah.
Yeah. And divide by 5 to get the Canadian dollar.
Because I'm not stuck with it. My mind is already in the back of my mind.
Anyway, so then what was your biggest takeaway from losing so much money over 2.5 years?
I was really bad at managing the team. I feel like this is me talking to my therapist and like the tears are coming out. Yeah, when I look back, I did many mistakes. Yeah, I was not experiencing any work at all. I just came out of the university. So I didn't really know how to... I should be manage the team better. But
in what way, though? How can you manage a team better? You're paying the live streamers money. They're happy. You got a cell phone set up somewhere to live stream.
Yeah, but there are so many other details. How do you let them? How do you make the live streamers be better at their work? Like if they're doing a shit work, you can't just let it keep going that way, right? You're gonna come up with ways to find people to train them, or you give them like encouraging system of
direction.
paying,
You give them
or
directions.
Yeah. I think I would say I wasn't smart enough, but also I wasn't good at dealing with the payment very well. Sometimes the pay got a bit late and they would complain about it, and I feel sorry too, but because me and my partners, we weren't doing a very good communication. Like we didn't have a very clear system for ourselves, so I would say the management was really bad. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, at least you learned that though. That's contributed to your success now. I mean, you're doing commercials.
I don't see myself as successful.
You're still in business 3 years.
I'm proud of myself, but I mean, it's a long way to go. Yeah.
Where's the end?
I don't know. I don't see the end is there. I mean, I enjoy what I'm doing now. I focus on the present moments. Yeah. As long as I'm having enough fun, I'm living a life that I'm happy with, and the things I do that I'm proud of, then that's enough for me. Yeah.
who was the investor that gave you that 500,000 renminbi? Was it a Chinese investor or overseas?
Yeah, a very rich guy.
Right.
Yeah, I think he didn't even care about that money. Like
Probably not.
No.
That amount of money, if he's, I don't know. But 2014, that's a lot of money to all of a sudden have in your bank account. But it wasn't your bank account.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was a business bank account.
Yeah, business bank.
But at that time, 2014, that's 9 years ago, live streaming. What was it like? It's not like it is today, is it? I mean, I use Bigo. Do you know Bigo? Yeah, a lot of people are like, don't use Bigo. I think it's an OnlyFans feeder website, basically. And you know what OnlyFans is? It's very notorious for adult content. And the girls
Is that a sexual thing that you pay and you see the more sexual part of it?
Yes.
Like cam girl.
Yes, that's pretty much exactly what it is. It's not supposed to be, but that's what it is.
Okay.
So this Bigo app, not that I'm using it for that. I'm using it because I find Chinese live streamers who talk. And my biggest impediment to learning Chinese, is your husband learning Chinese at all?
He gave up.
Okay, so one of the reasons why people give up is because you study standard Putonghua in the textbook HSK book.
Yeah.
Fine. You try to study with your girlfriend or wife, but it never works with the wife. By that time, it's too late. Okay. Girlfriend, maybe. But then before all that, you're trying to learn the language, and you learn the textbook language, but then you go talk to people, and you can't understand them. And it's because of the different dialects and the different accents.
Yes.
So Bigo is allowing me to have exposure to different accents around China.
Oh.
That's what I'm using it for. That's what I tell my girlfriend anyway. But I was also, I did mention this to another girl. She's like, yeah, Bigo is not it's a live streaming app. And basically these girls, or guys or whatever, I guess it feeds girls to my because my profiles as a man on there, as it should be. But it's all these girls who just sit there talking, and they have little decorations on their face, and they're singing. It's terrible. A lot of them are horrible singers. But what was your live streaming back then, like 2014? It was a lot simpler back then, I think.
No, we didn't get accepted very easily. Like when I was recruiting, at that time, live stream wasn't a big thing at all.
No.
Yeah.
Zero.
It just started up. So I got, like, when I reach out to girls, sometimes I got feedback like, oh, you can do this job by yourself. Your mom would be proud of you. Like, they thought I was asking them to do something sexual.
Yes, and that's very common.
Yeah, but that's not what we did. I tried to explain, but it's difficult. Yeah, so if you picture a woman in front of a private space in front of the camera, then that's probably the stereotype you could come up with. Yeah,
I don't think it's unwarranted.
Yeah,
I think
at that time, back
I
then,
think a lot of technology has grown because of that exact access. Women dancing in front of a camera for people around the world.
Yeah,
It
but
hasn't changed with Bigo at all.
Bigo is not a Chinese platform, right?
Singapore. I think it was bought out by a Chinese guy, though. I'm not sure. There was a Chinese connection. And the only reason I got back onto it, I remember years ago, it came across in the app feed of like new apps. But there's a guy I know in Canada who, I guess he's a live streamer on Bigo. I'm like, what the and I'm thinking like Bigo, this app that I deleted from my phone because I thought it was spam and an OnlyFans feeder website. Like it was totally a scam, I was thinking. He's asking me about it because he was asking me about Chinese like language and like Chinese women. What are you doing on this app? But I guess a lot of the bots are programmed by Chinese programmers, and this I don't know how they're doing it, but a lot of the interaction, we quote that interaction, is just bots, programmed bots to say certain questions or say certain things, sometimes in English, sometimes in Chinese, sometimes in Spanish. And so he's asking what these characters mean and stuff like that. So he gets paid money to be a live streamer, and he is not a young woman. He is not. He can't even be it. But he's using this app to live stream, and I thought it was really bizarre because live streaming is you hear it more now in China where
Yeah.
people are like, well, I'm a live streamer. Like,
Yeah.
so what do you do?
Well, now it's way more commercial. It's about how you sell things, right? And or on TikTok they do lots of games and stuff. They're making lots of money. But actually, like you were talking about the overseas platforms, but in China the restrictions about these live stream platforms, they're very strict. Like for example, you can't show too much of your boobs,
Right.
like even a little bit, and then your channel will be banned immediately.
Really?
Yes, it's very strict. Yeah.
It's not like the Russian girls.
No, not at all. Yeah. So even with that guaranteeing, like it's okay because you won't be able to, it's nothing too much to show your body or. But I understand, like of course, lots of people aren't willing to do that. So I did meet quite lots of like people were not willing to talk about it with me. I took it. Yeah, I accepted it. Yeah. So I just kept on going, kept on moving on to the next person who might be interested in.
Did you ever do live streaming?
No.
No.
Never. Yeah, I was just a manager. Yeah.
Are you interested at all? Not doing it at all?
No, I think I got quite lots of like bad feedback about the people from the people online. People can be very mean online.
Horrible people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't confident in myself enough to deal with that situation.
Right on. Yeah. Trolls. The trolls, the pie bots. Yeah, they're terrible. I have realized that you have to have a very good, almost a sick sense of humor, or an ability just to block it out to deal with those.
Mentally very powerful and strong.
I don't know if you have to be that strong. Just block it out. You're like, yeah, but I'm streaming, you're not. I'm making money, you're not. So, and the blocking technology is a lot better. You can block people a lot easier.
Yeah. Oh, we
So
used
compared
to. We had every time when our live streamers were online, we always had a special person, like kind of manager, just responsible for blocking people.
Full-time job there. Click, click,
Yeah,
click,
because
click.
they say ugly, nasty things to these girls. I mean, man, that's not right. They probably put this in real life. Like they can never have a chance to talk to a pretty girl like this in real life. Yeah, and they get the chance to say whatever they want online. Now they're just being as nasty as they want.
Do you think it's all guys, or can it be girls too? Trolling other girls?
I think it can be girls too, yeah. But it's mainly guys.
But when my girlfriend saw the Bigo app, she's like, those are all guys. She's just looking at the girls on. She's like, they're all guys, all of them.
Yeah. Probably didn't wash their face for 10 days and eating instant noodle with a big tummy and like, oh, you look ugly. Man, it's pathetic.
We'll use that as the YouTube clip.
But after that, so I was doing that for 2.5 years, and then I switched to, like, at the end I got offers from some other commercial production teams already saying, hey, do you have the models for this project, for example? So I started to take offers, and then I was like, okay, how about since this isn't working out, how about I just start to try to work as a model agent? That's how the model agent thing started.
So it just kind of grew off of one another.
Yeah.
Right? So live streaming into model agency, and then commercials.
Yeah, and then with the models, it was at that time they were more like clothes factories and brands studios still in Beijing. That was years ago. So I was arranging models to shoot pictures and stuff of them, and then more video commercials, so more actors involved. So I grew from model agent to kind of like casting director, you can call it that way, and then all these factories, they got banned out of Beijing. They all moved out of Beijing to sort out the pollution situation. That was a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember that.
2017, it changed. Beijing, like it used to be a lot of pollution here. Then they went to natural gas.
Yeah. So you see, it's a big line. So I'm just a small part of this line, and I also got affected. I was like, okay, don't worry. So I started to work in video commercials more as a casting director. representing a few, like I was working with a few producers to help them sorting out their actor needs. And then I was like, hey, how about I give it a try by myself? So I started to pitch for the whole production.
Right.
I failed at the first time. I still remember that night. I was crying.
What happened?
My client, it's a big game production that they have been using actors from me for quite a while. And then they said, okay, we have this production, maybe you want to give it a shot, because we know that we talked about this before. It's like, yes, please give me the chance. So I made a plan, but obviously I wasn't experienced at all, so I didn't have a very good judgment about their budget, about what director and stuff to match them with, and I failed, which were
How much money did you lose?
I didn't lose any
then
money.
that's not,
Yeah.
Is that really a failure then if you didn't lose any money?
It's not a failure, it's a lesson. It's a free lesson, yes. I like the way you look at it, yes. I learned a lot from it, and I remember that I was crying on the couch, and then my husband was comforting me, saying, don't worry, you will get better, and do another pitch next time. Just don't give up. Maybe it will happen next time. And it did, yeah.
So had it not, what would you have done instead? What were your options? If I were given the same well, because you were
again?
broken down into tears. I mean, you've already lost 500,000 renminbi. Now you're pitching
not
this.
my money, so I was okay.
And now your husband's saying, don't give up. I mean, at least he's got English teaching, which at the time was a steady job. And then coronavirus happened. But I mean...
Oh, actually, it came out to me. Before I started to pitch for that like a bigger production, I was already doing, I think for half a year, I was doing very small video productions by myself.
Right.
Because I had the contacts of all these factories, small factories, clothes brands and stuff, and I went to their big exhibitions in Beijing, in Guangzhou, Shanghai. So I went to the beauty exhibitions. So I got all the contacts of the factory leaders, bosses. I was like, I will make videos for you for very, very cheap money. And
did it work?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. I can't believe it. Yeah, but it's a nice occasion for people to talk with each other. Like if I knock their office door saying, hey, do you want to make videos? They probably would tell me to fuck off. But at the exhibition, it was okay. They were chilling there. They were doing nothing. They were showing their products. If they really have the needs and they actually were willing to talk to me. So some of them sent products to me, like 30, 50, and I wrote the scripts for every single piece of the video. That was very, very little money and lots of fucking work. Yeah, but I knew I was doing it. I was very grateful because I feel there was somebody were paying me for a lesson. So I won't say the videos, as you can imagine, it was only me. And later on, I got a camera guy, a friend, to help me film. So it was only me, the camera guy, and the model. So it can't be good, come on.
Oh, don't say that.
I was trying my best, but you cannot compare it with... a
full cruise.
Yes, you can't compare them. But for the price, I think I was only charging, 300 or 500 for one video? That's so little money.
But for 3 people? Because you're charging 500.
Yeah, but I was combining lots of products to film in one day.
Okay, yeah.
And because I didn't have any budget, so I was using my own apartment. My apartment looked very nice. It was small, but it looked very cozy. And on the first floor of my apartment building, there was a public room. So we filmed lots there, and my community was very beautiful. It was like opposite the 798, the art district. there was this our apartment was there, so we could film literally downstairs in our community with beautiful roads and stuff, and in the art district. So the location was, I managed to make the location free, and I know the models very well because at that time I had already been working as a model agent for years. So I asked those girls who like I knew better already, like, and I didn't force them to come at a perfect a specific day. So I asked them, if today you have free time, would you consider come to my place and we can make some short videos together. And they were doing a great favor for me. I was very grateful. They asked for much less money than, because normally for models you pay by hour, like at least 500 an hour.
Oh,
yeah. So at that
fantastic.
time, they were doing only for 1,000 for a day to do a favor for me. Yeah, and I had a few girls that I just asked them because those are, I just saw the three body.
Yeah.
And 许三观卖血记. Did you read it?
No.
Not yours. All right.
I think I have gotten through. This is page 12. This one is...
This is...
Oh, look, the bookmark is even gone. You know what that means? I had to restart it.
All right. But this is very complex. You're on HSK 6, you said? Or
5.
5. It's
Trying.
Pretty complicated for you to read.
Yes, it is. I bought that 3 years ago.
All right.
I was speaking. Your husband gave up. I know why. Because you look at that, the language, and you're like, yes. Because what happens is that your husband's from South Africa, right? Okay. So probably the Western method of learning a language is like, well, I'm just going to sit down and read a book. I'm going to start reading. I remember this German guy at university. He was like, well, when I needed to learn English, I just started reading the newspaper. And I'm thinking, that won't work with Chinese.
No.
It can't work with Chinese. And it doesn't work with Chinese. And so this was part of that sort of push 3-4 years ago, because I remember I read this book in English. And this book, Xu Sanguan by Yu Hua, it was recommended to me by a colleague who's like, it's an easy-ish book. It's not horribly difficult, but still very difficult for me at my level.
Yes, of course.
You cannot just pick up Chinese by reading it.
No.
You don't know what the sounds are. You don't know what the characters mean. Like, even if you didn't know the sounds, you don't know what the characters mean. Like, Chinese has, is it 3 or 4 languages all within one? You have the characters, you have the tones, you have the sounds, and then you have how they're spoken. So it's like that. There's your dialect, your issue.
Okay.
So it's like someone in Dongbei says it differently from Xinjiang, says it different from Guangzhou. Same language.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah.
They can, even the production subtitle, the same characters pronounced differently.
Yeah.
And then also the sort of the dialectical little isms, like where they might use a word like this over there, but they use a different word for that over here, sort of thing.
Yeah, my husband just gave up studying the characters. He hasn't given up studying the spoken Chinese. So I've been teaching him Dongbei dialect words.
Are you Dongbei Ren?
Yeah.
Okay, which part?
A city called Daqing, which is like
famous.
Really?
Coal dust, isn't it? It's a mining town, isn't it?
Oil.
Oil. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most foreigners don't know it, so I just mentioned Harbin. It's 2 hours driving away from Harbin.
North of Harbin, I think. Where is it in relation to Harbin? I know where Harbin. I've been there a couple times. Yeah, I've never been to Daqing.
It's boring. That's why I left, man. I think I haven't went back for 3 years already. There's nothing to do there. Yeah.
Only 3 years? Well, that's because coronavirus kept you in Beijing.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah.
That's been a big part of it.
Yeah, but my family, like my parents, they would come to Beijing to visit me.
Right.
Now, yeah, because I don't feel like there's anything. What should I do back there?
So how long have you been in Beijing for?
Since the live stream thing.
So 2014.
Yeah.
That's when I got here too. That seems to be when a lot of people came to Beijing that I sort of meet. 2014 is that year, that intake year that Beijing just attracted a lot of people. China attracted. You don't hear too many people after that sort of thing. At least maybe as I get older and the more I stay as an expat in Beijing, I don't go out. I was telling you before, like one of the reasons why this beard is so long is because I don't go out. Like you're one of the first people who's not work related that I have seen in a very long time. So I barely leave the compound. I run around and that's it. But so then, is there daqing? I know it because it's the commodity industry. What if it wasn't Beijing? Where else could you have gone? Could you have made a good living in Harbin, Dongbei?
No, I want to move to south. Yeah.
Where?
Shenzhen, Guangzhou.
Okay, that's all the tech hub.
Yeah, I would like to move there, but we'll think about it later.
Right, but is China home for both of you?
Yes.
Because you were in South Africa for a month. But actually, when I saw you post pictures that you were in South Africa, I'm like, oh shoot, did she leave? I guess it's going to be a Zoom interview then.
No, we just spent a bit long time there. It was over a month. I was supposed to stay longer there to spend more time with the family, but I realized that my visa is going to expire. Just one day, I was like, oh wait, should I take a look at my visa? I was like, fuck, no way, it expires in 2 days. So I quickly changed my flight, so I stayed in Hong Kong for a bit and then came back to Beijing, yeah.
How did you not know that your visa was going to expire?
I was stupid, man. I was stupid. There was no other word. Yeah, because at that time, when I was buying the flight ticket, it was all okay. And then because it was, I bought the ticket like with the same date of my visa, and then when we were there already, the door opened saying, hey, no more quarantine when you come back.
Oh, there you go.
So we changed the flight to much later on. So that's, long story short, I managed to come back on time, yeah.
How was South Africa? Have you ever been that far before, away from Beijing, away from Daqing, home of Daqing?
I think so. I started in Belarus, you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, small city in Minsk.
Oh, so that's why you majored in Russian.
Yeah, no, I majored in Russian, and then I started good enough, so I got to study there for 1 year for free.
For a scholarship?
Okay. Exchange student. Because my family didn't have the money for me to support me to go abroad for full 4 years university.
Yeah.
So I had to study hard by myself. But the government was paying for everything. They gave us, I think at that time they gave us $700 for a month just to use for daily life expenses. But the average income was only like $300 to $400 in Minsk.
Yeah. In Minsk, okay.
Yeah, so we were treated pretty nicely. I was very grateful as well.
So that was like your monthly, your food money, $700 you said.
Yes.
And then they paid for the tuition.
Then we didn't need to pay for anything.
So you just sat there and studied, and did you actually study, or did you?
I studied hard.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not like most foreign students. There was an article here that was just published how one of the I guess the Congress is going on right now, and one of the big wigs of the politicians was like, these foreigners that come to China should actually study when they're here. They shouldn't just party all the time.
Really?
And it was like, it's such a difference because a lot of foreigners, a lot of college going, a lot of university kids will just go party for 2-3 years.
Oh, yeah.
And then wonder why they don't get a job after in their respective major. But you actually went to Belarus and studied.
Yeah, but it was easy because they had the full score is 5.
Yeah.
And like in China it's 100. So it's like if you make a mistake on an exam, then that's 1 point taken away.
Yeah.
So but they have like every subject was only like 5. So I would say the tests they were way easier than the ones in China. So
really?
I got almost for all subjects it's at least a 4.5 and 5.
What do you mean it was? How was it easier?
The teachers, they were just more chill. Like they give marks based on your daily performance. How active are you in classes?
Oh, participation marks.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
Yeah.
And I skipped the classes because I wanted to travel in Europe by myself. So I was.
Doesn't sound like you're studying.
I was, but that's life experience, you know. So I saved some of the scholarships, so I went to travel. I didn't attend class for a couple of days. When I came back, I got the teacher chocolate, and she was happy again. And I was still doing great at answering all the questions. Yeah.
And what language are you speaking in Belarus?
Russian.
Russian. It was all. Are you fluent in Russian? Would
Not
you,
anymore.
No.
I was. Yeah.
Okay. Did you take the TRKL or whatever, the standard test, or no?
Yeah, we had the one. It's for the if you're a student, you major in Russian, then we have this specific exam.
Right.
Called major, like it's called level 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
No idea what that is.
Yeah, well, I was a good student, but now, man, no.
You haven't kept up your Russian at all?
No, I think if I just have a daily conversation in Russian with Russian speakers, they would be surprised because my pronunciation is pretty good, but I forgot most of the words, the grammar.
But you'd be able to recall that pretty quickly if you took a refresher. I mean, it wouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah, I just don't see the point of doing that. Like, I feel my time is quite precious.
And isn't that the struggle once you become a working person? I mean, actually, I remember one thing when I asked you if you wanted to be on this podcast, that you were concerned about your English level.
Oh yeah,
and I was going, why? I mean, you're fluent, and now you're telling me that you're trilingual, Russian, Chinese, and English. I mean, do you feel that your English is not good, or what was the fear?
I would say now it's enough for me for work. Yeah, I don't see any problems using it at work, but that was before I went to South Africa as well. You know, after a month being buried in only English, I suddenly became more confident. Yeah.
Well, this is only 5 months ago that I wrote these notes.
So now I'm okay. I'm more confident.
Well, that's good. So compared to your husband's Chinese, whose language is better? Your English is better than his Chinese?
Are you kidding?
I don't know.
No, mine. We only speak English to each other. Yeah.
Okay.
So from time to time, I teach him some words in Chinese, but his Chinese is like, and I'm quoting, 5 years old Chinese. Yeah.
Okay.
Like kindergarten level Chinese.
That's so does he still use pinyin to read and
He doesn't read.
He doesn't read. He just speaks. Well, one of the reasons I focused on HSK5 was because I didn't want to be one of those foreigners who lives here for 10, 20 years or whatever it is, and then can't speak or can't read. But reading, I don't have to talk to people, and I guess it helped during coronavirus because I couldn't talk to anyone anyway. But reading the notices, I mean, those have gotten easier over the time. But that's, yeah, I mean, your husband's given up studying the characters. I study the characters every day. It's just
respect, man, respect.
It's the grind.
I think it's really, Chinese is really a very difficult language.
It is a very difficult language. But I mean, you talked about, well, is it worth the time spending learning, like relearning Russian? Because you know English already, and that's professional. So your return on investment is pretty high with your English abilities. For me with Chinese, and I think for a lot of people, again with the Congress going on, one of these other guys was saying, if people live and work in China, they should pass a test that gauges their Chinese abilities. Much like how, when you went to Belarus, did you have to provide proof of proficiency, like in English or Russian?
Russian.
Russian.
Yes.
Okay, so and if you want to go to the UK, you'd have to take IELTS or TOEFL, right? Yeah. And that's what they want to do here in China. And I can't disagree, because it's like you have people come over here for 10 years and they don't speak anything. And it is very bizarre. It's almost an unfair balance. But I don't know.
But I mean, if you want to settle down to live, like settle down in China for a long-term life, then picking up the language is a good choice.
Which dialect would you recommend? Would you recommend Beijing, Putonghua, or would it be something?
Mandarin.
Mandarin?
Yeah, because Mandarin is well accepted everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you find it like fun to pick up, like if you since you're in Beijing already, then if you want to try Beijing dialect, then it's a cool thing to try. But have fun. But I mean, we have so many different dialects, so it's almost impossible if you want to learn quite a few at the same time.
Just one. One would be enough. I was thinking the southern dialect, like either around Xiamen or Fujian, or somewhere around there, picking up that dialect, because that dialect is the same as a lot of expat Chinese communities overseas. So all your Chinatowns have a lot of expats from the southern portion of China.
Yes.
And they also use traditional characters. They don't use the simplified characters. Which
like in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Can you read traditional characters very well?
Not very well. I can read, but some characters would not make sense to me.
Right.
I can't write them for sure. Yeah, but I don't use them again. Like I don't see I wouldn't spend time on it because I don't see it's like an investment. If I want to where do I want to put my efforts and time in?
Yeah, and again, if I was thinking about this the other day because HSK5, I took this test last year and I failed it. I got 43%. Brutal.
And how much do you need to pass? 60?
60%. Yeah.
Okay.
But I remember opening that test and going, nope. nope, none of this is anything that I remember at all. But thinking of like what else would I do if I didn't study Chinese? I don't know. I mean, maybe production would be better in my podcast. I'm not sure, but studying Chinese does take a long time to even get to a basic level of proficiency where you can actually have an interaction with someone, like at the storekeeper. It's as basic as it sounds. Even having that conversation is probably a year of study.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was it for you, like, because with the fear of speaking English, what was it like for you to learn English? I a lot of people talk about learning Mandarin Chinese, but like a lot of Chinese people, Chinese women especially, grow up learning Chinese and they speak it fluently. I mean, what was it like? Do you remember to learn English? No, you've blocked it out.
Yeah, it was in school, man. Yeah,
right.
I think my biggest struggle was to speak, because we learned in school, we knew how to, like Chinese students were so good at reading and writing probably, listening okay, but speaking was always the biggest struggle. But when I was in high school, I knew that was my disadvantage. Even we didn't need that in our examinations. So there was a small bar next to my high school, and I went there. That was the only place I knew nearby where some foreigners would go to. So I knew the boss lady there. So I just, I didn't have much money as a student. I was poor. So I was hopping around in her restaurant so that I could practice speaking more.
Right. So you were in high school working in a bar.
Not working, just hopping around.
Helping.
Yeah.
Okay. We can call it that instead. But then you have these, so as the English teachers, the local English teachers, I guess, would go to this bar.
Yeah, so yeah, I just use them as my language partners. Now I think back, man, why would they want to talk with a high school student? I didn't know anything. I must be so boring to talk with, but I was so like I kept talking with people, try to But now I think back, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. But your hometown, I mean, it wasn't very big, was it?
Yeah, it was a very small city.
So the English, there must be a lot of Germans there as well, because Changchun has a lot of German manufacturers. Was there Germans or Russians in Daqing as well?
No, not in my city.
Just a few stray English teachers.
What were we talking about before I mentioned the books? I completely forgot.
You throw me off with this one. I can't remember. You're talking about productions, and we're also talking about, South Africa came after that. Goodness.
But since we were talking about South Africa, so I was thinking about doing my production in Cape Town as well.
Okay.
Because I knew in Los Angeles it's very bad competition there as well. There are many Chinese students who started directing in LA, and they just stayed there and they are making productions for the Chinese companies. So I was thinking maybe because the currency rent is pretty weak in South Africa, so maybe I should try Cape Town this year. I'll see, maybe in summer I will go to contact some local directors, see how it works. But I also worry about the efficiency because they have this load shedding. Have you heard about it?
No, what's this?
It's when I was there 6 hours out of the day in the daytime, we didn't have electricity.
Okay.
Yes, and the internet was pretty slow. On my phone, the Wi-Fi was okay because my mother-in-law was a businesswoman. She had to use very good internet to work with people around the world.
Yeah.
But my phone was shit. And the electricity situation was very shit. So I didn't know. I don't know if it can work out. So I think I'll just give it a shot.
This is the one thing that, even for me, living in China for so long, good internet, the lights are on. I mean, I know I've heard stories of other parts having shutdowns and stuff like that, but Beijing, living in the capital, we're sort of insulated from a lot of anything else that can happen. Food shortages, not going to happen here. Electricity, probably not. I mean, lights are going to stay on. So
yeah, I think we are pretty spoiled by how convenient the life is here. Like, we got used to it.
I would say so. For sure. Is Beijing home, or because would you look to another city to set up shop to live in, or like, because your husband also has a job here as well, right?
Yeah, I actually would like to move to South. That's what we're gonna figure out later on. But when I would say for the next maybe 20 years, when we're still young, we would make our
20 years. Yeah. Wow, those are long plans.
Yeah, just make money in China, and then when we retire, just find a small island, tropical island, where we can surf and chill.
What would you do on a tropical island?
I love ocean.
You're not talking about like starting like living off the land, are you? It's terrible. You have to know a lot how to live off the land.
No, just like in Vietnam or in Philippines. I don't know, just somewhere nice and warm. I'm so traumatized by the cold weather in Harbin. From my hometown.
Is Dachshund that cold?
Cold, man.
Minus
-30 in winter. Yeah, and we have very, very short summer days.
Yeah. But then it gets super hot in the summer as well.
Not as hot as Beijing.
No, well, does anywhere get as hot as Beijing?
Yeah.
The southern parts of China, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but Beijing is dry heat. Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. Dry heat or not anything heat, it's still hot.
I'm okay with the heat, so because I grew up in the winter. Oh, just so cold, man. I hate it.
I'm from the Canadian prairies, and Harbin and my hometown are very similar in terms of...
Yeah, and you like it? You're okay with it?
Cold? No, that's why I live here.
Oh.
It's not the only reason I live here, but it's one of the reasons why. I mean, people are like, oh, what's wrong with Winnipeg? I'm like... One, it's cold. It's cold 6 months of the year, and we're not talking like cold, wow, it's cold. It's like cold, don't go outside.
Yes.
Cold, why did the grandparents get off the train here? Cold as in like there is 6 feet of snow outside your window sort of thing. That's cold. So, I mean, Beijing winters are nothing compared to that. They're very windy. The Beijing winters are very windy, but hometown, it's just, especially January, February, those are the times where you're just like, oh my goodness, is it ever... It's just cold. Cold. So I can't see myself returning to my hometown.
Me either,
anytime.
Man. We're on the same page.
Do you see a lot of like your friends or colleagues moving from their hometowns to be in bigger cities like Beijing, Shanghai?
Yeah.
Is it
especially like my hometown? It's such a small city. There
only 6 million people?
I don't even know. Yeah.
It's not bigger than Harbin. Harbin's like 13 million, isn't it?
It's smaller than Harbin. Yeah. I mean, there isn't enough like good opportunities for you to do there, and the market is very different. Like, I feel in Beijing it's more fair. Like, if you have the ability and if you have things that you want to do, you just keep trying, and at least you're competing with the others like in a more fair way. Like there, I feel it's more about connections the relationships with people, how you deal with the different governments. I don't know if this is okay for me to say this. It sounds pretty dark, like a mafia word there, but I don't like that. I want to, in a fair like competition situation with the other people, like I can accept the fact if I feel because I'm not good enough or just I didn't deal with the situation well enough, but I can't accept it because somebody knows his uncle is in the department or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, that's well, that was a huge issue, especially before 2014. I think that was a big issue. That's one of the things that the current administration was like, we're going to stop that. I mean, you could argue, people could argue as much as they want about whether or not it's actually been dealt with, but that's what the guanxi is what's been dealt with over the last couple of years. Yeah, Daqing, I've never been. I'd like to. I don't know. I'd love to travel up further to Dongbei and see other parts of it, but I mean, it doesn't sound like there's much to do. Why didn't you get into the oil business? Then, I mean,
boring, man. It's so
lots
boring.
of money though.
No. Like my cousin, I think two of my cousins, they stayed in my hometown in the oil business. That's just like a life that you can see the end already. Like you know how you're gonna live your life for the next 30, 40 years. Yeah, that's boring for me. Yeah.
You'd rather not know what's going to happen over the next 30 years.
Yeah, and I'm more like a ball thrower. Like I like to throw the balls to different directions and to see where do I want to go next. I don't want to limit myself in a certain way. I want to try things. I want to challenge myself, develop new skills, do different things, and then figure out maybe I'll keep trying for the next 10 years, 20 years. It doesn't matter. But I don't want to live a life where I can see, okay, that's how I'm going to get married, what type of kid I'm going to have, and how I'm going to die. That's boring.
I can't disagree. I mean, it's I see people who do it as well. They get into that job. Even teachers, like back in Canada, that was sort of your standard job if you were going to be a teacher. Government worker as well. You that's your job. You're not going to get laid off. There's always going to be a demand for your services. You're going to get pensions, retirement accounts, and everything. So, but you're not doing anything really exciting.
Yeah, I'm not judging them saying that's bad. I mean, it's more a personal choice, what fits you better. Like this, my current lifestyle makes me happier. I love freedom, so that's what I chose. But, when I graduated from the university, my university and another university in Moscow, they offered me free to go to the master degree for free. And my parents were so excited, like, oh, let's do it. I was like, Mom, no, I want to work now already. I don't see myself in the academic way in my life. So I do not want to spend another 2 or 3 years to keep on studying. I want to go to the society and try see things. And my mom said, oh, it's such a good opportunity. And then also my the oil company in my hometown, they also came to my family saying they could give us, might sound a bit weird for you because in my hometown it's like still, at that time it was still like the traditional way. If you got in your family, if you have a student graduating, they would give you an offer in the oil company directly.
Yes.
Yeah. So they came to my parents and saying, if your kid is going to reject this opportunity, you need to sign their name and stuff. And my mom was so anxious. She kept calling me a few times saying, are you sure? You sure you don't want to come back? I said, Mom, I'm sure. Yeah.
Does this happen a lot? The Chinese girls get their moms calling them at all times? And
yeah, I think so.
Is it pestering or asking or inquiring? I don't know. How do you...
Controlling. Yeah, that's the way. My mom used to be way more controlling than the way she is now, because now I actually can stand up for myself and tell her, no.
Because you're making money though, and it's one thing when you're not making any money, you're living off their dime. But
yeah, financial independence is comes first. Yeah, after I have that, I can tell her, Mom, please, this is not what I want. Please respect my choice. And I would explain to her why and what makes me happier. Like, do you want me to live a life that you want me to live, but miserable and in pain every day? Or you want me to choose my own way? Maybe it's more risky. Maybe it's some dangers out there. Maybe I will just, not make it. I'll become homeless. I don't have money, but that's a lifestyle that makes me happier. So she can understand. So she's not very like that controlling like the rest of the Chinese parents.
Has she given up, maybe?
Oh no, she's still trying. Like she still tells me, don't do this, don't do that. I said, Mom, please stop saying that. Yeah. Yeah. And then now she knows, like she's just taking the chance, She's still trying to tell me what to do and what to not to do.
What does your dad say?
That's what he says. Yes, yeah. That's lots of fathers are like that. They are like back off, like they don't.
Well, they don't want to argue with your mother either, right? Do you see yourself being like that in the future, if and when you have kids? Maybe, don't know. You don't have to say. Would it? The next generation, are they going to be as controlling as their parents?
No.
No.
No, I would respect my kid more. Sorry, Mom, for saying that. I'm not saying that you're not respecting me because you're such a lovely mom. But no, yeah, I would treat my kid as another individual. Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
I do. It's kind of funny that you mentioned that these companies would pay for the degree and they would give you this job and everything. Like if my dad heard that offer, he would be like, "Take it, just go take it." I mean, you got your money. Yeah, no, it was. When I started traveling, I think a lot of time, like when I started teaching English, that was actually one of the biggest things that held me back from traveling. Is that the whole backpacking through Europe thing? Like it's unemployment, it's costing money. What's the reason for it? What's the purpose?
When did you do that? Sorry.
That was 2009.
I mean, you were still a student. You took a gap year, or?
I did not. My only gap year was in 2006, I think it was. But then after that, I went back to do a master's degree. And I made the choice to stay in my hometown because that's where my girlfriend was at the time, work and everything. I had a nice little setup. After all that fell apart, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But the only way I could justify leaving my hometown was to have a job somewhere else. And that's where I went. Actually, I went to South Korea first. So that was my first contract outside of Canada. Was in South Korea, and before that I went traveling through Europe for a little bit. But that was the whole idea of, if you have a job, take it. You don't. The parents are very risk adverse, I guess, because they've put a lot of work into you.
Yeah.
Which the older I get, and I see my nieces and nephews, I see the sacrifices that my brothers and sister have made raising these kids. And talking about like return on investment of learning a language. Do you spend the time learning a language, that little return on investment, or do you spend the time with your family building that up instead, right? So I hear that, and especially as a teacher, you hear these kids in their 20s talking about their parents. I'm like, man, your parents, how like just 辛苦了. How bitter it was for them to like struggle to have you to be bilingual, right? And for me, I see that. I kind of go, wow, that's impressive. I don't does anyone pay attention to that? Like how much has changed over the last 30 years, 20 years from your parents' generation to the current generation?
I think so, yeah. Nowadays, like the younger generation's parents, they're very different from like our parents. Yeah, they treat their kids like they do treat them differently.
How big is the generation gap though? Because I'm just thinking, like out here, I see that a lot of the IEs and the grandmothers, they're out there with babies. Like a lot of people having kids these days, they're in their early 30s sort of thing.
Yeah, late. Yeah.
Is that late?
Well,
that's early for Westerners.
For you, not, yeah, but it's getting later and later. I still have lots of friends that still in a relationship, not in a relationship. They don't care about marriage at all. Like getting married, because it used to be a necessary choice. You had to get married at a certain age. Like, you know, before I married to my current husband, I had another marriage before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was my first marriage. I won't say I was forced to make the decision, but at that time, I wasn't self-aware either. So I didn't know what I want in life. I wasn't clear. And then my parents and his parents were like, okay, it's time to get married. You should get married. And then we got married, and then they kept asking about the kids. When do you want to have a kid? It's too much. It's, yeah, like...
Wow.
Yeah, they wanted you to follow a certain type of lifestyle. You, at a certain age, do what you need to do. But now, especially for women, we started to realize that it's not something we have to do. We can actually fucking choose.
How old were you when you got married the first time? 26?
24.
24, okay. So, yeah, because I think the parents' generation, they were normally married by that time. And they would have had a kid probably at that time.
Yes.
Did your parents go to university?
No.
No, okay. So they left high school, got a job.
Did my mom even go to high school? It's very different back then. You know, my dad grew up still suffering from famine, so they didn't even have enough food there. So my mom's family, they didn't have enough money to support her to go to school. They left the money to her younger brother to go to school. So she had to drop the school.
Oh, wow.
And she grew up in Shandong. It was not city. It was farmers. What do you call that? Like you need to farm there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she came all the way to. She went up all the way to Dongbei to look for her uncle, and she settled down in the city. That's why I was born in the city.
Okay.
Small one, but it was a city. So I'm trying to say, as the life, like the changes have happened very quickly for the past 2-3 decades in China. Yeah, how the way that my parents grew up and the way I grew up and my next generation, completely different.
Huge difference, yeah. It's again, teaching some of these university students, you're kind of like, it's bizarre that, I mean, it's awesome to see that people are bilingual and they have 5G phones and able to be live streamers, but thinking back in the early 80s, even early 90s, I mean, it must have been a very different world, which when I meet expats who've been here, and if they don't know Chinese, but they showed up in 1995, I'm kind of like, wow, you've seen stuff. This country has changed. They all like to talk about like Saint Latoon, how it was never there before, and how like the whole Fourth Ring Road wasn't there before. So yeah, I don't know. Simpler times, was it?
Yeah, it was. Probably, I don't know. I was a kid. All we did was study. Like, I think nowadays it's the kids are living a bit different life, but they are also forced to do, like, take advantage of every single minute of their of class time to study something. The parents will push them to piano, chess, different things. Yeah. What we did was just study all the time, all day.
What were you studying? Because these kids are studying piano.
I was painting. Okay. And I think my mom didn't know how to communicate with me. She never asked me if I was interested in it. I fucking hated it, and I wasn't talented in that at all. But I was too scared of telling her, and I wasted lots of time doing that, which came out with nothing, because only when I grew up I realized, actually after I tried different sports and like things like dancing, I realized music, dancing is where my talent is, but mainly just they were not happy with my marks all the time. Like I was okay.
Were you a good student or?
I started hard, but I could never be good enough for them. Nobody could. No student can be good enough for their parents. Chinese parents are harsh, man. They're tough at their kids.
Why do you think they're like that?
I don't know.
Just a product of the times because
probably they were traumatized as well with how much they have suffered when they grew up. Yeah, and they didn't want their kids to have such a bad life.
Yeah.
Or for the things that they couldn't achieve when they were younger, they put that expectation on their children.
I wonder if some of it has to do with their impression of what, like, because they forced you to study, and when they were growing up, they saw that the educated people, like people who got education, they were able to have so many more opportunities, and they look at that and go, then you should do it too, right? But I mean, technology has changed a lot of that as well. I mean, I don't think, did you think when you were in high school that you're going to be a producer in Beijing?
Never. I thought actually I had a dream. I remember I wrote down a note to stick it to my table. I wanted to be a journalist in a battlefield. Like, you know, when you watch news, you see there's a war somewhere in the world, and like boom, you can hear the boom boom outside. No, hello, journal people, audience, we are doing this, and it's been booming for the past 10 hours. Now boom, you know, I wanted to be one of those people.
Well, Belarus is very close to a war zone now.
But my score wasn't good enough to go get into a media university in Beijing.
I don't know if war correspondents need good grades. I think they need survivor skills.
No. I mean, we all need to pass the college entrance examination. Yes. And my province, Harbin, for the good universities in Beijing, like the media majors, they only will take like one student for that major from my province.
Right.
So that would be very risky for me if I went there. But in short, I wasn't good enough. I my score. That's how simple it is. So I went to Russian because I chose Russian because I had interest in different languages and cultures.
Mm-hmm.
So
right. And Russian makes sense with Harbin being right there.
Yeah. And English was, at that time, I felt it was easy, and too many people knew English. It should be just a very easy tool. So I wouldn't go for English. I chose like Russian, Arabic, Spanish, Portuguese, all the different types of languages, and see which one would take me.
And which one? Russian
my first choice,
was Russian. Not Arabic?
No, fortunately.
That's another tough language.
Yeah, it is.
But people say that Russian's a very difficult language too.
It is. A
lot of conjugations that go on in that.
I think English is the easiest language, probably.
Sadly, yes. Yes, it is.
But it's useful. Like, you are using your first language as a tool, like in your work.
Yes, I remember thinking this in South Korea. That it was a very good choice for my grandfather on my grandparents who were from Ukraine. They got on that boat and they moved to Canada.
Yeah.
And I remember there's some, I don't know how true it is, whether or not my grandfather was planning on going back to Ukraine, but he never did. And so as a result, I was born in Canada. I have a Canadian passport and I speak English, which just lucked out to be the language that pays right now.
Yes.
So, and especially being Canadian. South Africa as well, that it's a native speaking English country as well.
Yes.
It's one of the glorified 7, as I call them, where it's like, if you're from those 7 countries, you have an easier time of getting a job than if you were a fluent speaker of English from like Brazil, Ukraine, or some other place, right?
Yeah.
So, because I know a few of the people, or even Philippines, I know a few colleagues, they're fluent, but to change jobs in China for them is far more troublesome than for me, just because of my passport.
Yes.
So
that's a privilege. Sorry for saying that, but
I cannot argue with it. I mean, I can't, and I've taken advantage of it. So
yes.
I mean, it's gotten me this far. I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to take me any further. Hey, I'm learning Chinese. I'm trying my best, grinding my way through that
Respect.
one.
Man,
Good
job.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it unfolds over. You got a phone call.
No,
Business.
Okay. No, it's okay.
So then we've talked about quite a bit here. I mean, we've talked about a little bit about your growing up, your production as well, life, marriage. You're in South Africa as well.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not home just yet, but you want to move to the south. I mean, What else do people need to know about you? What else would you
I
like them to
actually
know
wrote some notes on the way here. Something I thought maybe you would be interested to hear some like interesting stories in my work. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are these horror stories, or what kind of stories are they?
No, just like maybe like small troubles that I met in my productions. I thought that could be an interesting thing to share. Like, you know, as a producer, except putting things together, right, you always need to solve different types of problems. So I'm basically a problem solver, and it doesn't matter like how well I've prepared for my project. I just need to set myself the mindset that things can go wrong. Yeah, so I need to be ready for that. So here's some like shit happens. Shit happens.
Horror stories of the production, film production, commercial production world in Beijing.
Yeah.
All right, so what's this horror story? How many are there?
A few. You can choose. The first one was it was for a mobile game 2 years ago. We made plan for everything already. The actor was a crew of about 30 people, and we were filming 5 stories in that day. It was for a pirate themed game, and just 2 days before the shooting day, the wardrobe guy told me, "Oh, we didn't get the costumes yet, because for a pirate game we need to do lots of cosplays for the characters there."
Mm-hmm. Pirate costumes, yes.
Yes, that was the main part, and at that time I couldn't change the shooting date already because imagine that would like take another 2 weeks. We had to delay the whole shooting to like 2 weeks later. My clients wouldn't accept that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, don't panic. So I just sent a guy to go to Guangzhou, all the way to Guangzhou, just waiting outside their factory, like the moment they
And
open.
this production was in Beijing.
Yeah.
So you sent a guy flying down to Guangzhou.
Yeah, just to pick up the costumes and fly back, like the morning, the day, like in the early morning, right at the shooting day. So
did you make it?
Yes. Fortunately, yes. The factory fucked up one costume. They give us the wrong costume, but it was still okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So luckily, my clients accepted it. Yeah. So just anything could go wrong, you know, because it wasn't his fault either. It should get the costumes should get here on time, but the factory fucked it up. Yeah. So things like this always happen.
What would be the funniest story you have of either things going wrong or things going right in your work? Anything that comes to mind that you just can't help but laugh?
I wrote a story. It was for a game that's whose target audience is mainly 40, 50 years old middle class woman, American,
Okay.
like in North American markets. So I was thinking what would they like, and then I wrote this script using the stereotype from Pornhub, the plumpers. Yeah, so I contacted a model that I like, a Polish guy, and we just filmed it like it's purely like a Pornhub style. It's bad for me to do this. I feel
so you made it
guilty.
pornography?
No, but but that's the way we were trying to lead the audience to think. So basically,
Did his clothes stay on? It was a he, right?
he, yeah.
Okay. Did his clothes stay on or
with
off?
a housewife in there. Like the beginning scene was he was the muscles, the swears coming down, and the music like
Right.
And he was fixing things like touching his hair, his muscle, and the housewife was looking at him like and then the story kept going on.
And then what happened?
Oh,
then you shot a porn after? Or
No, they just then they started to talk about the game, but with logical lines to lead the audience into the story. Yeah, but all this stereotype is from porn.
From porn.
Yeah.
Like since you've brought it up, is porn a viable industry in China? if someone were, because
It's illegal, man.
Yeah, I know it is.
Yeah.
But not if it's cast as Japanese. If it's a Japanese production, then it's perfectly legal.
In Japan, yeah, but like if you, well, I know the Japanese porn. Why are we talking about porn? So if the
You hired a Polish guy to take his shirt off for a video game.
yeah, but they are those websites. I don't know where did you watch those Japanese porn, but those are illegal websites as well. So they get, of course, you can still find them, but they need to change their website names or addresses from time to time.
Thank you for saying I don't know where you watch those. Neither do I. I've heard. My friend told me.
I just found Japanese porn stars, they scream in a weird way, so I don't like to watch them.
And Japanese porn has a very different
Style.
A lot of different stuff goes into it. All right, we've covered the Polish guy taking his shirt off. What's the worst thing that's happened to you on production? Like something that you're like, ugh, not again, or this should never happen again.
I would say it's not like a mistake in my work, but it's a pretty common thing in the on-site. It doesn't matter commercial or movies, that women are not allowed to sit on the gear boxes. I hate that fact.
Women or people in general?
Women, specifically women.
Why?
Like I was in the crew, I was the casting director, and I was responsible for over 20 actors that day on site. We were filming outside. I was very tired. I saw, those gear boxes. They're pretty big. The
like the ones that roll and they have all the gear inside of it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't sit on it because I thought that could be precious. I didn't want to break the things inside. But I saw all the other guys were sitting on it because there were quite lots.
Yeah.
So I just saw an empty one that sat on it, and then suddenly this guy out of nowhere started to shout at me saying, you can't sit here. I said, but those guys, they were also sitting on the boxes. He said, yes, but you're a woman, so you can't sit on the boxes.
What?
Yes. And that was many years ago, and then I realized it's such a common thing just on site. Is that the same in Canada or in America?
I think if you screamed at someone for being a woman for sitting on a gearbox, you're going to have a lawsuit against you very soon.
I think so as well, but it's so common in China.
What's the reasoning?
They think, I don't say women dirty, but like you have yin and yang, Yin and yang, a woman stands for yin.
How does that affect the gearbox?
So it could be bad luck for the crew or bad luck for the team, for the production. Yeah, and
okay. I don't know.
I feel very unfair, and then I realized the only way to solve this is to get on a higher position. So now, as a producer, I can sit on their shoulders. Sorry. No, I'm joking. But like we have to just to be at a better position to have the similar thing, like the fair rights with the men. It's pretty fucked up if you think about it, isn't it?
It's the first time I've ever heard of this.
And it's been going on for years and years.
Do you think that's going to change? Do you want to does it matter?
Like, I don't know about other teams, but in my crew, I wouldn't allow that to happen. So
the women still are not allowed to sit on the gearbox?
In other crews, probably, because like we can't change the whole world, but at least in our small influential circles, we can do the things that we can do. Like I would try to work with girls more than guys. Mm-hmm. If like there's a position, for example, wardrobe or makeup artist, I can choose between a guy or a girl. I would choose to work with a girl just because it's the whole environment is more difficult for them to survive.
Mm-hmm. Do you see that a lot, that it's like the women sort of band together? They sort of choose another woman instead of working with a guy?
I think so, yeah. Nowadays it's because this girls help girls thing has becoming more and more popular, and we started to realize actually just to send help to others will be like we will get good results out of it later on as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably it'll be sexism for me to say this, but at work, when I'm working with girls, it's just easier. That's I've been
In
saying,
what way?
I've been saying lots of wrong things today. Yeah, it's just that they pay more attention to details. They are more careful with things. Guys are good too. I love guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm married to one. Come on.
Would you have chosen a woman instead if she was more attentive to details, or what?
Well, I will meant.
But with I see what you mean, and I guess as a foreigner, having lived in China for so long, I've seen what some Chinese guys are like, and I can't help but say that I'd rather work with Chinese women too. Mm. And that will sound bad in its own way, but I don't. Why do you think that is? Why is it that the women are much more attentive to detail compared to their male counterparts?
We just had to try harder and become better, and so that we can, we started at different lines. Like we were here and we were lower than them, and so we had to, like physically, like and mentally become like we needed to be better at our job so that we can step at the same position with them. So it's like we need to be here, but it looks like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a podcast that probably doesn't work. Can you describe what I'm doing? This is a woman, this is man.
Basically, the women have to move out of the comparison of the two finger sets, right hand and left hand. The women have to be a full inch better, higher than what the men have to achieve in the same amount.
Yes.
And so that would enable women to be at least on the same footing, sort of thing.
And the movie and the filming industry is very male dominant as well. Yeah.
But why? There's a lot of Chinese actresses.
Oh, I mean not actors, but like.
But just the background.
Directors,
right.
Cameramen. Yeah, it's.
Do women want to do those jobs though?
I think so. Directors make lots of money.
How much do they make?
Well, it depends on what level of directors you are.
Beginning.
I worked with directors, like because my productions are small, right? So the directors I work with, they probably like 20,000 for a day. Better ones, of course, there's no limits. It's like 100,000, 80,000 for a day. Yeah.
But the intro level director, so these would be the people who went to university for being a director. Though. It wouldn't just be like the local Chinese teacher who has a camera sort of thing. Okay. Right.
No.
And so out of university they would be making 20,000 a day. And how many shoots would they be doing per month? Would they be busy all month?
It depends on his, I don't know, like his contact connections, maybe his experiences, his previous productions and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's a good gig though. Do Chinese women get paid the same if they are a director?
Actually, sadly enough, I've never worked with any female director. Yeah.
Because they don't want that job.
No, it's just that I happened not to find any.
Right.
Yeah, I've met some, yes, but...
well, there was that famous girl, but she was a filmmaker who's in Los Angeles now. Wasn't she Chinese she won an award?
Michelle? She's the actress.
No, there was a director as well. I can't remember. I saw.
Anyway, yeah. I just didn't meet them in my life. Yeah. If I, and also like when I choose which director to work with, I need him or her, but now I can only say him. I need him to have the similar backgrounds and experiences because that's what my clients would like to expect to see first.
Right.
So that they can trust him. But when I was looking for directors, I didn't see any female directors.
No female directors. You need more white women in your productions. Anything else that you need?
Voiceover actors, yeah.
Well, you have a group of almost 300 people there.
Yeah, it's not enough.
No? Is it hard to find talent to even do voiceovers?
Not hard because I mean I've been doing it for quite a few years, so I've got a good base of people, and for lots of jobs actually I know I have a idea in my mind already who would be a perfect match, so I'll just contact him or her directly. But for those like open auditions, I would post it in my group and ask around. But I mean, because voiceover, it's not like. Sometimes you don't have to be trained to do that. Like if you are trained, of course you will get more jobs and gigs and stuff. But also, I like to work with, for example, theater actors, or they've done something similar to this, like to acting, but they are not voiceover actors.
Yeah.
They are pretty fresh. Like surprisingly, like my voiceover director also likes to work with this type of people. Like they are not, because sometimes some voiceover talents, they have a special way, like they are used to the way they work. Like it's like a mode they switch on, so they don't give you something new out of his or her own way. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, they're amazing. Like they're so experienced that they nail things down quickly.
First take, second take, done.
Yeah, but also I like to some fresh people, you know, it's always exciting, and I always encourage some of my friends, if they want to give it a shot, say yes, like give it a shot if you find it fun, if you will enjoy it when you are doing it, so give it a shot.
It's a huge business now though, like voiceover, because I remember gaming, because of the mobile gaming industry, which has taken off in China in the last 2-3 years, that it's huge demand for voice actors, for who are the script writers though? Are they all Chinese, or are they foreign? Do they get foreigners to write it, like outside of China?
They have. First, we don't work together with the writers. We are just the production suppliers for those game productions. But on those projects that we work together with, I also ask the same question. They basically, all the big game productions, they have their own localization team. They have or they call it differently. My main client company, they call it a Worldview team. So it's a team of native English writers. They study in it, and they are professional writers to come up with the storylines and stuff. And they are in different languages, not only in English, but also like the Chinese companies, they export their games to different markets in the world, like Arabic. Like I've done productions in Japanese, Korean, Arabic, Russian. Have I done Spanish? No. Thai, Vietnamese, Taiwan. Not Cantonese. Anyway, just different types of things. Yeah. So.
All requiring a voice actor to read a language that you don't know, or are they just the teams based in those languages?
No, I mean I made commercials in these languages.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah. And I like to work with lots of voiceover actors around the world as well.
Right.
For those easier ones, not like a big complicated story that has to be done under the director's instruction, then we have to do it offline in studio in Beijing. But for the past 3 years, lots of people left China, so we didn't have enough voiceover actors in Beijing. So I started to combine the two ways: offline in Beijing, some characters, and maybe some characters remotely.
Right. Yeah. Through Fiverr.
Upwork as well.
Yeah.
Fiverr is my main thing.
Yeah, well, and I guess you're going to find more professional people on Fiverr as well. Easier to sort of sift through the offerings of who's available.
Yes.
Here in your WeChat group, no one has a profile. Not many, anyway.
Yeah.
What other funny stories do you have for us?
This is not funny. Is that okay?
Oh. How bad is it?
It's not bad. It's just a small problem I met. For one production, they wanted a story that happens in hospital, and they give me, limited amount of budgets, but the hospital they expected is way fancier than the budget. So I just managed to, like, I try to convince them it's a bit, not possible to do that, but they still insisted that's what they want. So I just had to change another story to, so I spent the money on the hospital scene, but which means I had like very little money for the other story. So I just had to change the scenario of the other story completely. It was supposed to be in the fancy place, but because we had no more budget anymore, so we changed it to just outside our studio. Like we took advantage. We were using the story was basically a rock star coming out on the way, and lots of fans were shouting his name and stuff. So we just saying, okay, now we had no money. We just using this yard of this studio. It looked completely shit, but we're putting on some props there to make it look a little bit better. Hire a Lamborghini just to match the.
Did you hire a Lamborghini?
Yeah.
How much does that
cost?
cost?
Oh, that's a funny story, by the way.
How much does that cost to rent a Lamborghini for a film shoot?
4,000 for 4 hours.
For 4 hours, yeah. Okay,
yeah. Yeah, but by the way, since you mentioned the Lamborghini, so in that story, we wrote the rock star had a driver. Like the driver opened the door for him, and they both sat in, and then he invited another fan in the car, and they left together. But when the Lamborghini,
how does 3 people fit in a Lamborghini?
That's the thing, you see. I've never sat in a Lamborghini before, so I didn't know that, and the scriptwriter didn't know that either. So the clients didn't know that either. That's so shit.
And so what happened? You did fit 3 people into a Lamborghini?
No, we didn't. So we just let the driver on set when the car came that morning. We look at the car and like, oh fuck, this car.
It's a 2-seater.
Only missed 2 seats, yeah. So we just let the driver open the door for him. So he sat in, and then he invited the fan to come inside. But luckily, it wasn't 4 people altogether.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had to make changes on site as well.
So what happened to the hospital then? But the hospital shoot went okay?
Yes.
Did it actually look good? Did you use the shoots or not?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it all went well. I mean, this type of things, like unexpected things always happen. So just don't panic and be ready.
How long is your typical shoot day for something like this? Like if you have a Lamborghini showing up at a hospital?
How long? Chinese people, we work hard. So I'm actually.
You get an hour and a half for lunch though.
Oh, you mean in the Cash Frenzy?
Well, yeah, for that one.
That is a very chill crew. That's not normal.
Oh, okay.
Because they film every day. So
right.
They have to also take care of their own stuff. They can't overwork them too much.
Right.
So they can have some rest. But on my, for bigger productions, that's not normal. Nobody rests for 1.5 hour.
That seemed excessive. It was like, really, wow, you can have a nap after this too.
Yeah. Well, basically, for eating maximum 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we're going to keep rolling.
Get back to work. Yeah.
So, I would make plan to no longer than, I would say, 12 to 14 hours. But sometimes and you see that's a plan. That's on the rundown on the call sheet. That's how long it rests. But sometimes things get a bit longer than the plan. For example, sometimes the actors just cannot remember the line, so we have to redo it over again, or they just are not delivering the thing that the director wanted them to. I remember one day we were supposed to finish at 12, but at 2 o'clock we finished. Yeah.
AM or?
AM.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And did you even use that take?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
We used everything. All the footage are very precious. But the crew, you see lots of people in the filming industry, they get lots of health problems because they overwork too much. Yeah. But luckily,
I think all of them smoke too, and they have very unhealthy lifestyles.
That's true as well.
I don't think it's the working 12 hours, 14 hours. I think it's what they're doing.
Well, but imagine, like, for example, that they will finish at 2, right? But those people on set, those people who carry around to the cameras, and they started way earlier than us. Like we arrived on site maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, but they had to put their gears in the trucks and bring things to the set, all set up before I got there. They probably left like 5 o'clock in the morning already, and then they worked until 2 o'clock in the morning. That's almost 24 hours. That's a long time. Yeah.
Do they get paid extra for that? Like, is
Yes.
there overtime?
Yeah.
Because I know in Canada, I think there was meal penalty, and it was a big rush that at 12, if the call sheet said 12 o'clock and the production went to 12:01, that 1 minute was paid at like 2.5 times the hourly rate or something.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like the producers would lose their shit. And they're like,
Yes.
get it done now
Yes.
before 12 o'clock because the budget will. If I don't get it done, then the other producers are going to start screaming at me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be, but
but we don't pay them.
no, we do pay them, but it like in theory they should, like, as long as it's over 12 hours on set, those crew, they should be paid twice, double their day income.
Yeah.
But normally, because we know it's probably gonna happen, so we normally just have a deal with them. Like we do it not like double immediately, because then we can't deal with that shit. So we just pay like by hour, for example. And those people normally we've been knowing each other for quite a while, and they know like what type of stress I'm under as well, to try to maintain the budget but also make good stuff out of this budget. So they would like to cooperate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So normally we have a deal in advance. So
Yeah.
they won't just suddenly just call, okay, now you need to pay me double. Yeah.
No.
Same with actors. If they overtime, just by hourly rate.
Yeah. So it's mostly hourly rate then.
Yeah.
Do you have what is a typical contract then? Like when people sign, do people sign contracts, or is it just handshake agreements? You're not.
Sometimes, yeah. But like with my clients, I obviously need to sign contracts.
Yeah.
I deal with contracts lots. I have a lawyer to work on.
Oh, you do?
for
Okay,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't afford a full-time lawyer because I don't have enough contracts. I'm such a small company, man. But I have a part-time lawyer. Just I pay her by hours. Like for the hours, like she's working on my contracts, I'll pay her that way.
Her as well, another woman. Did you choose the woman, or there was no other choice? Like she was just the person.
I just happened that way, and I was happy. Yeah, she's doing a brilliant job. I love her. But for between me and the people who work for me, we don't always have contracts. Yeah.
No, so it's just a handshake agreement. Show on up, we'll pay you,
Yeah.
and they know you're good for the money that
Yeah.
you're gonna pay.
I have my own system of paying. Let's say, for example, actors.
Yeah.
I know lots of actors. They get paid like not with a certain time. Like sometimes if they meet a pretty bad agent, they can wait for a month or a long time for that payment. Yeah. And I don't want my actors to have the same like disappointed feeling from me. So I set up my own system. Like every Monday I pay for the people that I worked with during the past week.
And it gets it off of your books too. You don't have to think about it, right? It's check mark, done.
Yeah, it's just a more financial stress on me only, because for me to get paid from my clients, it's gonna take like 1 month. That's quick. Like
really?
Yes.
How long does it normally take for them to pay you?
2 months, I'd say. Yeah.
So you have to think 2 months in advance, sort of thing.
Yeah, I always need to put my own money in there, and then I would expect it much later on.
Wow, risky. You're brave for doing that. I think that's maybe why I sort of stay in my own industry. I don't like to. We get paid 60 days in arrears anyway, but I think it wasn't just money, but food. I was told that food is also a very important thing on set. If you don't have good food, actors or crew get cranky because they're like, why am I working this hard, 12, 14 hours, and we're not getting fed, or we don't get decent food? Do you take care of food at all, or? I do.
Yeah. I have to order food for everyone. Yeah. I just like it's also the like we can't. It's difficult for me to get like the nice fancy like healthy salad type of steak thing, you know, for the people
How
on set.
expensive is salad? Salad's
No,
not
it's just
expensive.
it's more often our studios are far away from everywhere, so it's just for me normally around it's only those small Chinese restaurants that I can order from.
Yeah.
So it's nothing too good. Like for if some models they take very good care of what they eat and their body shape. So I tell them in advance, like if you don't eat like Chinese food, some a bit more greasy, you know, more oil they cooked with. So I tell them in advance, like that's what we're gonna have, just normal Chinese food. If you want, you can bring your own diet food or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I started doing that with my own work. Actually, was I started bringing vegetables, a box of vegetables, and I was easier. It was easier for me to function after lunch eating raw vegetables than it was after eating. Pick your Chinese lunch.
Yeah.
Lots of rice, lots of
Carbs
oil.
makes you sleepy and tired.
Yeah, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, no, I can't. I don't want to fall asleep now. I mean, I guess I could, but clients won't like that if I fall asleep on them, basically.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm glad with where I am with the ESL industry. Does your husband want to get involved with your work at all?
Oh my god, man, I wouldn't. Baby, I love you, but you also know this. So I wouldn't want you to be on my side because your temper just isn't good enough isn't suitable for this. Because for acting, for one scene we need to do it like multiple takes, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes from different camera angles, close up, further, but he can't, yeah. It's not a part of his personality. He hates repeating the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, and that's what acting is. Say the line again, emote more, but say it again.
Yeah. And the director would normally go, okay, that's good, but one more take just in case. Like that's the thing you hear on set all the time. One more take just in case.
And you were saying before, like you do 10 takes? How many takes? What's your shooting ratio? How much do you shoot before you sort of to final product? Like, do you shoot 5 takes to 1 take that you'll actually use, or?
It depends on how the actors perform. Actually, yeah. If we get it the first time, we just need one more in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah.
Even if just to get the audio, sometimes.
Yeah. But we don't like to over film as well. It's a waste of time, right? So as long as we get what we want, then we move on. Yeah. But just one more in case.
Just in case. The other note that you had me write down was, you're a feminist. You stated that you stated that very clearly. That you're a feminist. Does this pull go into you choosing to work with women more than working with guys? Or it's not just because they're guys. It's because you want to give women a chance
more
to.
More chances, yeah.
Do you see a lot of women wanting to get involved in production?
Yes.
From Beijing or from other small towns, or where are they from?
Like I was asked, I met some girls like they ask my advice for how do they get into the industry, but I mean everybody's path is different. Yeah. My path is just me. Like I became a producer this way, but there are so many different choices for them as well. But also my knowledge about it is so limited of my own experience. So I would tell them everything I know, but they also need to figure it out by themselves. Yeah, like I met a girl, Nicole, in Beijing. I think what she did was very amazing as well. She was running her own YouTube channel about her life as an expat in Beijing, and she was traveling around. I mean, to do media by yourself is also a brilliant way.
Isn't she based in Chongqing?
Yeah, she left Beijing.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I've seen her videos. I'm not sure. But so then, with being a producer, would you ever think about doing your own YouTube or Bilibili channel that is all about how to survive the film industry in China? Go back to your live streaming roots. Russian? Why not? English because it's easy. Trilingual.
Am I good enough to do that?
I don't know. What are the qualifications to do live streaming?
I don't know. I don't have the time for that. Yeah, I'm focusing on what I'm doing right now. I've spent lots of time. Like for example, I'm joining Tatiana's stage play again because I think it's such a new experience. Just want to experience more things and to figure out what I want to do. If even it doesn't bring me any outcome, it's okay. The experience itself is treasure for me. So I have so many things going on in my mind. Like I said about this year, my plans of trying to open the markets or talk with local teams in other countries. I'm pretty occupied. Yeah.
You sound like you're busy.
Yes, I'm very busy. Yeah. And also, since you were talking about what I wrote in my notes, you are also now you're also working from home by yourself, right?
Instead of facing this way for the podcast, I face it this wall. That's it.
So I think just my feeling about being a freelancer, it's like we talk about self-discipline sometimes, like we want to encourage ourselves to be more productive and stuff, but also like look at it from another way is to find a way to how to communicate with ourselves better, to satisfy our needs, mental needs. Like sometimes we just need a break. Like I when I was very busy, there was a period of time, like I said, I didn't do nothing but work, but that was not sustainable. So I just came to a realization, I need a sustainable lifestyle, which is not pushing myself too hard that I couldn't survive, I couldn't breathe, but also be productive and efficient at the same time. Like respect my body's call. Like when I know I need to eat healthy, I know I need to, for example, meditation for 5 minutes in the morning just to be fresh for the day, have a coffee in the morning calmly, and then set up my own plan, working hours, and for those hours I just work and then switch off, have time with my dogs, with my partner.
So you're a producer. What would you recommend in terms of productions to see? Movies, Chinese movies, Chinese TV shows. What would you say that people should watch if they want to get an experience of what China has to offer for film?
I didn't.
Do you have time to watch movies?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. It's a mission for me. I have to do. Yeah, and I buy lots of movie studies sessions online.
What are those?
Like for example, like masterclass type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to watch the classes online. The famous directors talk about movies.
Right.
For example, actors. Recently, I'm watching a session. A very famous Chinese actor talking about the highlights of some movies that he wanted to share with the audience, and I would take a list and watch those movies and learn, study from that. So for me it's my homework.
Right.
Yeah, and I enjoy doing it. Yeah. I didn't like to watch Chinese movies a couple of years ago because I thought there weren't many good ones, especially comedies.
Right.
Yeah, they're pretty shit. But actually, in the recent years, there are some pretty good productions. And the productions, they realize the only way to get more audience is to make good stuff. Like before,
what did they think before?
They just spent all their money on the famous celebrities. So the young actors, they had no acting skills, and they use very strong filters. They look like fake people.
Yeah.
Like, watching that shit hurt my eyes. But recent years there are some good ones.
Like
Huang
what?
Biao, everyone
Huang Biao.
knockouts.
Okay.
Didn't hear about that?
I've heard of this one. I haven't seen it though.
The knockouts.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean because we have this system, the radio and movie bureau. I'm not sure how to call it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's the is it the censorship or it's the overseeing arm that the Film and Radio Bureau.
Yeah. So they have to check every single production that's being released in the market.
It's that green screen that shows up at the beginning with the red film strip or something.
Yeah. So there are certain rules that we can't, like our production teams can't break. They have to follow their rules.
Of course.
For example, animals cannot become ghosts. I don't know, I'm making sense. You know, you have some like, for example, cat becomes, it develops over the thousands of years, becomes like has its own awareness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
a lot happen after New China has established. It sounds weird, right?
Well, good thing you've told me. I'll just change that in my script.
Yeah. Or like we can't make really good horror movies because that's also not acceptable by the bureau.
Right.
Yeah, so it's normally something like scary or weird happens, and then in the end, this guy is a psycho, or he wakes up from a dream.
It has to be a dream.
Yeah,
if it's a dream, it's okay.
Dream. Yeah. But like the knockouts, the ending of the knockout was a bit disappointing. People
Why?
wouldn't agree because always like we would know the ending before it happened already. Like the good people just have to win, and the mafia they all have to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's pretty good.
Is there a rule about? I think I remember talking to my students some about this. That to be a Chinese actress, to be a woman in a Chinese movie, you basically had to be able to cry and then die. That was all the film, the movies, all the soap operas. All the women are crying all the time, and when they're done crying, they go die.
Really?
That's what I remember. I remember watching early movies when I first came to China. It's like all these women are crying all the time, and then eventually they are the ones that have cancer. They're the ones who they take the bullet for the husband or for the family or something.
Yes.
The guys always live, but the women basically die. Not the children. The children stay, but the
They're always
mothers.
the one who makes sacrifice.
All the time. Maybe that's another restriction or another thing that they have to put in.
Yeah, but I mean, being able to cry is such a basic thing for an actor. Like all actors have to do that at Q.
I would not be able to cry. Maybe that's why I'm not an actor.
Yeah, me either. So that's their profession. That's what they do. But I do agree with opinion that not enough rich female characters are being made in our industry. Yeah.
Maybe you can change that.
I will see what I can do.
Are there? Well, there was a big movie. Not Big Mama. What was it called? Mama, I Love You, wasn't it? That was the big comedy. That was the Chinese movie.
Yes.
That was huge.
Yeah.
That was actually a pretty good movie. I remember.
Yeah, and the director was a girl. Yeah.
But that was the big selling. Not just a selling feature. That was one of the big aspects of the production. Was that it was the women that had made that movie. So, anything else that you would recommend people to watch? Can you remember the names?
Some crime series are pretty nice. Yeah.
Which ones?
I only know the names in Chinese though.
Sure.
I like 沉默的真相, The Silent Truth. I watched that one recently. I like it. The director was doing a great job. The story was also very good. Movies, no, that'll be all for me. Yeah.
Soap operas, TV dramas.
I don't watch them very
Nothing.
often. Yeah.
What about books? Do you have any recommendations? Like
Three Body. Yeah.
Three Body. Okay.
Yeah, since you have that on your table.
I have the whole series. I have all 4 books. I think it is.
Did you like it?
No.
I mean, the book or the series?
the book. I'm even Wandering Earth. Well, this was funny because I see what they're trying to do with the very patriotic Chinese movies now. They're doing exactly what the United States, what Hollywood does with America, Independence Day. We're going to stand up. We're going to beat the aliens. China's doing it with their movie industry now, and that's like what the Wandering Earth was all about. Was China?
We're talking about 1 or 2.
I don't. Was there a second one? Oh, there was a second one, right?
You didn't watch that yet.
What was the one that came out? Was it 1 year or 2 years ago?
No, recently. I think it just.
Okay, is that part 2 then? Because the Earth. I watched the one where they actually take Earth out of the solar system. They put those big rocket ships around the Earth and they ship Earth.
That was one.
Okay, so I've seen that one.
Yeah, well, I think you can try Wandering Earth 2 as well.
No,
it's a bit different because I feel in lots of this type of movies, the Hollywood movies, it's more about individual heroism. How do you call it? Like one person saves the world.
One hero, yeah.
Yeah, one hero. But in this one, it's more about small people all together, and they were making it together. It's pretty different value.
I guess, but they haven't made Three Body into a movie in China just yet.
Not a movie, but series, and the series was. I was watching it with double speed, and then even that it was too slow. It's so much boring shit, like flashbacks all the time, and the pace was too slow. So I kept fast forward all the time. Yeah, it wasn't good.
That was my impression of the book. I read it in English, and I was just like, where's this book going?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never did get around to reading the sequel, because it was like, I think that's enough. I'm done with that.
I mean, the first one of Three Body, the book, it was a bit plain, but the second one was my favorite, The Dark Forest.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole world view of the second book was really blew my mind.
Right. No, that's higher level Chinese for me.
Did you read the second one?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
I probably won't, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
I just...
Okay.
It's science fiction. I didn't really like the first one. I know people love this book. I mean, I can't go a day without hearing, have you heard of Three Body Problem? Like, yes, I have. Yes, I have.
That's a big problem.
All the time. But my goal, I guess, with Chinese literature is that I want to start reading like real books, and that's why I have that Yuhua book. I have a few others, but I just haven't had time to sit down and actually do them to read. Because to get to the level where I can actually read it in Chinese requires me to spend so much time reading the Chinese dictionary to learn the words, basically. So if I don't know the characters, then I can't read the books. It's kind of tough.
It reminds me the other sci-fi book, Foundation.
Foundation, okay.
Yeah.
By who?
Asimov.
Asimov, yeah. Yeah.
So I was hoping, because I was involved in a mobile game voiceover with that IP, so I'm hoping this year can happen.
That there's going to be an app or a game.
A game. That'd be like my dream come true.
Based on the Foundation series?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
have you read those books?
Yeah, but I haven't finished yet because they're so long.
There's
I'm
like
only
6 of them, isn't there?
7, I think. Yeah. Not sure because I'm only on number 4.
I've never read them. I've heard about them. I don't. Again, I think some of these things where they're classic books, I'm okay reading the Wikipedia page or a summary online or waiting for the movie to come out. That'd be fine as well.
Yeah.
Do you recommend that I read this Yuhua, or is there someone else that you would recommend at my current level of
I love
Chinese?
this one, man. So if you can, please try.
And that's been made into a movie too, I think.
Yes.
Back in 20 years ago, though. It's an old movie.
Yeah, I read that when I was in high school, I think, or middle school. It's about the stories in China. Like if you're living in the modern life in China now, you wouldn't imagine how China was like back then.
This is the 1980s, I think, or when was this?
I don't really remember. I read it too many years ago.
Okay.
But the life, man, it was just so hard. Like it's literally about those times how this guy sold his blood to survive for different reasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's selling the blood, his own blood.
Yeah, his own blood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And why is he doing this? Just to make money?
to survive. For they will, like, when you read it, you will see the reasons. Like, it's like he had no choice.
Anything else that would be similar difficulty if I were to read it in Chinese?
活着 from the same writer, Yu Hua的.
Okay. But what's that one about?
This guy, he was from a rich family, and then how his family got from rich to completely no money at all, and his life about it, he got married, and then they had kids, and every single person in his family just died one by one, and he's
What a happy story.
it's a very it's quite scary, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. What about English or Russian books? Do you read Russian books at all?
No.
Nothing. Zero.
Yeah, I used to when I was in university, but no, not really. I don't remember them.
English books? You reading anything these days?
These days, The Power of Now. Have you heard about it?
Yeah. What do you think of that one?
I would say in the beginning it's a bit weird, but because I was doing mindfulness and meditation for a while, so I accept the idea, and I found it quite useful for me to get myself out of the anxious situation. Yeah, because I do have lots of stress from work.
Of course.
Yeah.
The 12 to 14 hour work days. All right, so well, we've been talking quite a bit. Awesome.
For a long time.
Now,
Jesus.
is there anything else that people need to know about you? And to clarify, your name Song, but it's not your only name. Song. Do you have a second, third name as well?
Song Wang.
Song Wang. Okay.
Wang is my family name.
Have you seen the bar that's named after you, or is it?
Yeah, I've seen that.
The
Yeah.
same tone or not? Because they don't have the Chinese characters there.
I just saw the name. It's Song, same with
Right.
my name. I've never been there, but my friend sent me the picture.
Yeah.
You sent me the picture.
I think it was me
okay.
because
Okay.
that was you're like Song. Hey, that's like that. You don't need to go there. It's I don't know if it's the same owner actually. It used to be run by two women, which is part of the reason I thought maybe it was you who had a bar or something in Shuangjing, but I don't think so. That whole strip miraculously has survived COVID. I don't know how. They must have some very rich families behind those bars, but their big specialty is that each bar along that lineup sort of has its own unique drink. I don't need to spend 100 kwai on a drink. I'll just go get a bottle and be done with it, sort of thing. So that's it. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming in. Is there anything else that people need to know about what you do? We can also put those stories up on the show notes as well.
Yeah, maybe just some things that I like, small things that I would like to share as a freelancer.
Okay, sure.
Very small points. I'll be quick. It's about I think one of my biggest struggles is I'm afraid of the bad outcomes of things, because I don't work in a company. So I need to always look for opportunities by myself, and it can be very scary. Like my mom said, she was worried about how risky it can be. What if just the society abandoned me? I cannot make enough money to survive. But fear has always been one of my biggest struggles, and I had to learn my own way to deal with it.
How have you tackled that fear?
I think I found one sentence quite powerful for me. Is to conquer fear is not to let it disappear, but to hold it in your hands, but still keep going forward with it. So I was just be aware by myself. Okay, I feel the fear now. I'm worried for the bad outcomes, but it's okay. Let me just keep doing it. Do not let it affect the way that how I would behave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do visualization as well. I have my own visualization list. It's from the law of attraction. I think many people
I've heard of,
heard about it.
I've read it a while ago. What's your list of visualization? What's your what do you think of?
Mainly about what type of person I want to be.
Okay.
Like the specific goals, they are different from time to time. Like every half a year I would make a new one. But the principles are the same. Like for my partner, what type of person I want to be. For my friends and for my clients, I want to be a reliable colleague for them. For my actors, for example, my directors, I want to be trustworthy, reliable, that they can work with, like comfortably with. So just having this picture in my mind would make me to do the probably not the easier choice when in practice, but the right one for me. Yeah.
Right. Do you think of what people will think of you 5-10 years later on? 'Cause we were talking about this podcast and how it could be a good legacy, and I'm like, let's get through this one first before we think of 10 years from down the line. Do you think of that at all? Your legacy of what you'll leave behind, whether it's even for the women that you work with, like some young girl out there is like, well, someone gave me a chance, and now I'm a actress and whatever.
Legacy, I wouldn't call it that way. I mean, I am pretty selfish. I only think for myself.
Well, but you're thinking of your crew there, that you're taking care of them. You're thinking of your husband as well. So then you are thinking of other people in...
Yeah, but not selfish in that way, but in a better way. Like I do take care of my own needs, but also for other people. What do I... Like, it's like at my funeral when people think about me, how they describe me.
Right. So that's like a legacy, and again another death element for Chinese women.
When I was a few years ago, when I was a model agent, I made some mistakes back then. Like I lied to my clients just because lying was easier. I thought it was the easier thing to do, but then shit would hate the fan,
And you have to explain something, and it wasn't that easy.
Yeah, so now I would choose rather admit my mistakes instead of lying about it. Yeah. I mean, in the end, work is just work. Fuck that, it's not life. You're just still gonna live your life.
Do you consider like a lot of the productions, you're like, it's just work, it's just another day on the job?
No. I mean, that's just the way I comfort myself.
Right, yeah. And there's going to be good deals and bad deals, and other people there's going to be different personalities that you have to deal with as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm grateful for good things and the bad things. The bad things give me a lesson. So I wouldn't learn that much without those mistakes. So I'm happy with everything.
Right on.
That's all, I think.
We'll leave it there. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Having me.
I think the only other thing that we didn't talk about was the number. What episode number have we agreed on for this one?
38! Okay. I love 38!
Do you want to explain a little bit about this number? And then, because this was news, and the only reason I asked you about it was I had no idea until you told me what it meant.
Really?
No idea. I know 13 is the Western style, okay, but number 4 is bad, 6 is good, 8 is good, which I was thinking 38 must be good. And then you're like, no. But I'll let you explain that.
Yeah, because samba is a word used to be used to humiliate a woman. Like samba, it basically means fucking bitch, right? It's so fucked up. I don't know. Like people got used to it. It's like, and then it becomes something you think it's okay just because everybody thinks that way.
Really?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
And like same with the Women's Day, woman is 妇女, but because 妇女 stands for some like an image of a woman that's a bit more mature, not looking too good, probably a housewife type of thing. And so lots of people chose not to use the word, like the real word woman, but go to like Goddesses Day, Girls Day. But it's wrong, women shouldn't have the meaning of the bad side of it. So I just think we should give all the amazing meanings back to the word woman.
So
take the word back.
The idea, because it's Women's Day, they're saying that that's not good enough. That's just normal. You want to be more than normal, is what they're saying with Women's Day.
No, they were giving the word woman bad meanings. Like stands for example, a housewife not making money, not proving their worth in the society, who looks old, who doesn't look elegant or beautiful enough.
How can a housewife not be giving anything to society?
Yes, yeah.
Housewife
it's not being their values are not being recognized enough.
Where else did society come from if not from a housewife?
Yeah, exactly, man.
See, I thought 38, because March 8th is International Women's Day, right? And that's what I was thinking when you said that. I was like, yeah, we can celebrate this, and then like your next sentence was like, yeah, it's terrible. I'm like, okay, did not know that at all. So I learned something.
Yeah, but I mean, there are so many other girls like me. That's what we are trying to make a voice together, is to give the original, like the good meanings back to this word and take this word back in our field. It stands for amazing qualities as a woman.
Right on. Okay. There we go. We'll have it. Thanks again.
Thank
Appreciate
you for having me.
Episode number 38. We'll have all the show notes on the website and how to get in contact with you as well. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
And there we have it. That's episode number 38 with Song Wang. Thank you very much for taking the time and listening today. Show notes are available up on my website, stevensersky.com. And of course, you can stream this on all the major platforms and even on YouTube. So Spotify, Google, Apple, YouTube, you can find it there. Thanks again for listening. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk again. Have a good one. Bye-bye.